Man was June, July, and August.
When you started out with me, you said, I don't owe him any rent.
I don't got time for this get-rich-quick scheme he got going on.
Don't cup an attitude.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Salon owner John Thorpe is suing stylist LaTanya Rice for unpaid rent and stolen furniture.
Order. All rise. It's case number 356 on the calendar in the matter of Thorpe versus Rice.
Thank you, Bert.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Thorpe, you own a building, and in that building there is a beauty salon.
Yes, ma'am.
And you rented that beauty salon to Miss Rice.
That's correct.
Is your claim in this lawsuit that when she moved out of the salon, she moved out owing you rent, and in addition, she took some furniture that belonged to you, some chairs.
Salon furniture.
Salon furniture. I'm not exactly sure what her defense is with regard to the rent, but with regard to the furniture, it is Miss Rice's position that you told her that it was old furniture and that if she refurbished it, if she wanted to keep it stirred and clean them all up, and she took them with her when she left. That's your defense. Okay, when did you move in, Miss Rice?
I signed the lease in August.
Of what year?
2015.
And what was your rent monthly?
It started out at $525, and that's because we broke the security deposit up via 7 months. And then after the 7 months, then the rent dropped to $450.
How long did you stay there?
About a year.
When did you move out?
August.
Of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many months' rent did you pay?
I don't owe him anything.
No, that's not what I asked you. That's why we're here. So don't cup an attitude.
I don't have an attitude with you.
Don't cup an attitude. I asked you a question. I said, how many months' rent did you pay him?
I paid him, I think, all his rent.
I don't know what you think, because we'll go through each month. You signed the lease in August. Was the lease supposed to start in September? Or August? Or October? When was it supposed to start?
I believe it started in August.
Can I see the lease?
Yes, ma'am. I have the lease right here. I also have a schedule of the payments that she made to me as well.
Started September 1st. I'm going to says that you paid him and the months that you paid him.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this starts in August 28th, 2015. He says on August 28th, 2015, you paid him $525.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have any deposits for October, November. You do have one in December for $525, so you didn't pay those 2 months. Do you have any proof that you paid those 2 months?
No, but when we signed the lease in August, the 28th, that was just early for September.
I got it.
And then, according to text messages, I did give him the rent for October because Mr. John is one of them type of people. He keep you informed
well, just a
all
second.
the way through.
Just show me that you gave him rent in October.
I don't have a receipt.
Show me the text message.
He should have had a deposit on the 9th of October. It says the money was deposited into your account. Thanks.
Just a second. That's your message to him.
Yes, I told...
Where's his message to you? Because he's asking for his money on the 9th. You say to him, I deposited the money.
Yes.
Where does he say, oh, fine, I got it?
He never responds
then
like
what
that.
you have to do, madam, the fact that you say, I deposited the money in your bank, show me an acknowledgement or show me something from your bank. I don't need a receipt. You have a bank.
No, I didn't have a bank account at that time.
How did you deposit the money in his bank?
Because I had his account. I had his account number.
And then you get a receipt.
And then I got a receipt.
Just a second. Then you
then in the process of mismanagement, I lost the receipt.
No, that's
but
too,
I always
send
a text message to him and let him know when I deposited the money.
I don't care. I mean, your text message, because he's asking you where my rent is, and you say, I dropped it in the mail.
No, I didn't.
And then I lost my receipt. Okay, October, November, you don't have. December, he says you paid $525. The next time he got a partial payment of $200, January 20th. Then he got another partial payment of $75 on February 1st. However, on February 5th, he got $800.
Yes.
So on February 5th, and then on February 24th, he got another $400. So I'm going to take October off because she paid twice in February, right? But she didn't pay in January, the full January. So she owes $325 for January, $525 for November. And then she didn't pay anything in March, but on April 8th, she have any proof that you paid in March? No. By March, was your rent $450 or was it still?
Because I paid in March.
No, you didn't pay in March. You didn't pay
Yes,
in March.
like right here.
Well, show me where he acknowledges that you paid in March. The fact that you say you paid in March, checks in the mail, doesn't mean he got it. Just tell me.
It wasn't in the mail. Like,
No,
I paid him $400 on the 24th of February. That was March payment. That was for March. I paid him up.
No,
I paid him ahead of time because it was income tax time. Because John is one of them type of...
Listen to me.
I don't owe him anything.
You owed him money from January.
I don't owe him money from January.
Yeah, you did.
No, I don't, because the $800 in February covered January and February.
And
That's
what about
where
March?
it came from.
Just a second. You just told me.
And then the other payment, the $400, covered March. That's how the payment got back down to $475, $450, and $25 for the late fee, according to his own text messages.
Just a second.
I don't got time for this get-rich-quick scheme he got going on.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Not necessary. She's got it down pat. She owes you $2,200 in rent. Now, let's talk about the furniture. Who put in that furniture in the salon?
We own that furniture.
That's not
we
what
placed it there.
Just a second. Who put in the furniture in the... Who purchased the furniture and put it in the salon?
Her mother.
Who's her?
My wife, my lovely wife.
Now, was she in the beauty supply business?
Can I?
My wife or...
No, her mother.
No.
Well, you want to tell me how it came about that her mother put furniture in a beauty parlor?
She owned it. She rented it to tenants, and that was a part of...
Whose building is it?
It's ours now.
Did her mother pass away?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's make it much easier. You inherited...
Yes, ma'am.
...this furniture, so you did not purchase it. You inherited it.
Yes, ma'am.
When you inherited the building.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did not purchase it. That's the answer. You didn't. You did not purchase it. And you are not in the beauty parlor business. Just answer my question. You're not in the beauty parlor business.
No, I'm not, ma'am.
And neither is your wife.
Correct.
How long ago did you inherit the building?
If I'm staying correct, it was 2009, 2008.
When did you inherit the building?
2009.
And your mother was in that business?
My mother was a seamstress.
Okay. She owned the building. She put the furniture in there so that she could rent the place as a salon.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Stand up, because you have the facts and he doesn't. He's going to make it up as they go along. When did she outfit that store as a salon? In what year?
The year for that furniture was 2002. She has owned that.
2002.
Okay.
Now we have a jumping off spot.
Okay.
So this furniture that you want me to award you money for, that you never purchased, was purchased sometime on or before 2002, correct?
That's correct.
And for this furniture, you want $1,350 for 3 salon chairs, estimated value $750. 2 shampoo chairs, $300. 1 dryer with a hood, $300. And 1 large mirror. Okay. So that you're not getting. But you're getting the $2,200 in rent.
But that was the cost to replace.
I got a
Just a
receipt
second.
for the rent.
I don't care.
I understand.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The only payments I did not pay this man was June, July, and August.
Just a second. In the beginning, you said, I don't owe him any rent. Now you say, well, I do owe him June, July, and August.
According to his own text
according to you.
messages.
And later today,
What clothing items do you allege that she took from you?
Boots, blue jeans.
Did you take his boots and blue jeans?
I might have took a few items from him, but I put them in a bag and I gave them back to him.
What else? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is nonsense.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stylist LaTanya Rice owes for rent and stolen property.
Okay, what?
I have a receipt for April rent. And like I said, according to his own text messages, I paid him up. He says it in here, the only 3 months he never received was June, July, and August.
Just to show me.
He says it's been 3 months now and no rent.
Just a minute. It's been Oh, that doesn't mean you only own for June, July, and
But it
August.
says- he
just a
says-
second. I want to see what it says, because if what it says, I haven't heard from you with anything with regard to rent.
Oh, and you can.
What he's saying to you in these series of text messages, I haven't heard anything from you about rent.
You didn't give me a chance.
No. I didn't give you a chance.
No,
I said
because-
just show me receipts.
That's all I have. That is it.
April 8th.
But even he give you
Just-
a printout of his supposedly payments.
He's got this payment here. It's listed here. April 8th, $475. It's listed here as a payment he received from you.
Yeah, but he should be able to. You know what? Like I said, I paid him. The only payments I did not pay this man was June.
Hey, just a second. So, in the beginning, when you started out with me, you said, I don't owe him any rent. Now you say, well, I do owe him June, July, and August.
According to his own text
according
messages.
to you. No, according to you.
I'm going by the text messages.
$2,200, judgment for the plaintiff.
That's
We're
fine.
done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He got this get-rich-quick scheme going on both of y'all two petty selves.
I really believe that my husband should have put her out a long time ago.
I'm done.
I would listen to my wife more.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Moore versus White Lee. Step forward.
Isaiah Moore is suing his cousin, April White Lee, for unpaid rent and stolen property.
Mr. Moore, the defendant is your cousin.
Correct.
And your complaint alleges the following. You say that there came a time when she and her two children were having some difficulties, housing difficulties, and you allowed them to move in with you.
Correct.
When was that?
A little over 2 years ago,
Month and year.
January 2015,
And when did she leave?
April of this year, 2016.
So she stayed with you quite a while.
She did.
And from the time she moved in with her two children, did she pay you the $200 rent that you agreed that she would pay?
No, she did not.
Did she pay you at all?
No, she did not.
So she lived with you from January of 2015 to April 2016 and didn't pay you to pay you?
Originally, we had set up a payment plan for her to pay, for us to go Dutch every other month. I pay January, she paid February. I pay March, she paid April.
How much was the rent?
Originally, $775 a month.
You were asking for 3 months unpaid rent, but she lived with you, according to you, for over a year and never paid
Her
any
children
rent.
didn't stay with her at first.
What difference does that make?
It made the difference of the fact that I had to make a lot of sacrifices. Financially at work, I had to make a lot of sacrifices as far as family member and transportation.
I see. I'm not crazy about this case at all. Do you understand?
What do you
If
mean?
you let her live with you for 13 or 14 or 15 months,
Yeah.
and she didn't pay you any rent, and you had an agreement for $200 worth of rent,
Right.
then you forgave the rent. I don't want to hear anything about rent. Rent is gone. Now, next we're going to talk about when she moved out, it is your claim that she took property that didn't belong to her.
Correct.
What property did she take?
Clothing.
Okay. Well, she says that she did laundry, that the laundry all got messed up, and she returned the items of yours that got mixed up with her laundry. After she moved out, did she ever return any items to you?
That's not correct at all.
Just a second. What clothing items do you allege that she took from you?
Boots.
Blue jeans?
I never took the boots, but when I washed and did laundry before I left, I might have took a few items from him, but I put them in a bag and I gave them back to him. He received that stuff back, so I don't...
Next! What else? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is nonsense.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Do you have her keys?
Yes, I have them here, Your Honor.
Would you give her the keys? Sure.
How do I know that she didn't make a copy? I have
don't
text
listen.
messages.
Listen to me. I don't know and I don't care.
Okay, so if my RV comes up stolen, what do I do?
Cry.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Isaiah Moore is suing his cousin, April White Lee, for unpaid rent and stolen property.
What else do you think that she took from you?
She took rims that I paid for individually, $110 for each rim. And I put them in her vehicle. They were there just until I was able to get the funds for me to be able to put them on my car. I come home from work one day, they're not in her car. She doesn't have any idea where they are. She admitted to it.
Neither do I. Well, she admitted to what?
I've got some evidence here, Your Honor.
You mean that she stole the stuff
That
of yours?
she either stole, sold, threw out, or gave them away to her friends.
Well,
That's a
let
whole
me-
nother story. She's got a few friends that she likes to
When?
The month that she put the rims in there
No,
was...
not she put them in. You put them in. You say you bought the rims and put them in her car.
2015.
I'm not interested in 2015. We're done here. Thank you very much. Case is over.
Excuse, you may step out.
I'm happy everything is over.
Judge Judy just told it all.
I love my cousin.
She didn't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm glad it's over with.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Swinner versus Pate. Step forward.
Heather Swenor is suing her former friend, Elizabeth Pate, for an unpaid loan to fix up an RV. Elizabeth is countersuing for lock-changing fees, emotional distress, and defamation.
Ms. Swinner, what do you do for a living?
I'm a preschool teacher.
You met the defendant, according to what I read, sometime in March of this year.
Yes.
And she was at that time having some financial difficulty. According to you, you loaned her some money in order to renovate an RV that she could live in, or a trailer that she could live in. Was it a trailer or an RV?
It was an RV.
And how much did you loan her at that time?
$1,542, Your Honor.
For specifically what things?
For her rent, for the RV place, the registration on the RV, batteries to get it up and moving.
Do you have all of those receipts?
I have all the receipts right here,
I'd
Your
like
Honor.
to take a look at them. This is for coffee? Starbucks?
That was from when we went to Starbucks after we left.
I don't do that.
Okay.
Rainbow Market, $22?
Yeah, that was for cigarettes and things for her grandmother.
I don't do that either. In-N-Out Burger? So far I have batteries for the...
Okay.
This is for gas.
Yeah, for the RV to get it to her grandmother's house where she parked it until she
On
could
what
get
date?
into an RV place.
On what date?
That was June 26th, I believe.
June 23rd, close enough. AutoZone, red lens repair tape. What is
Yeah,
that?
that was for the lens tape for the back of the lens needed to be repaired on the back so she could drive it.
Did you use this? Okay, fine. Tuna fish, I'm not getting involved with. This is the Dollar General store. Okay. I have car battery, $128, and then I have $11 and $33, $105. Now, how much did she give you back?
She gave me $100 in June. She gave me $100 in August, and she gave me $40 in July.
How much did you give her?
I gave her a total of $350.
$350 is about what she says she got from you. All right, you have a stupid counterclaim. You will have 30 seconds to tell me what...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
My counterclaim begins with she has a set of keys to my RV, and because she has those keys and she has threatened to have my RV taken from me, I need all new locks for it.
It's not happening. Do you have her keys?
Yes, I have them here, Your Honor.
Would you give her the keys? Sure.
How do I know that she didn't make a copy? I have text messages.
Listen to me. I don't know and I don't care.
Okay, but she has...
Don't know, don't care. There
I
are
have
the keys.
text messages.
Don't know, don't care.
I have
there are
text
the keys.
messages, Your Honor.
Don't know, don't care. There are the keys.
Okay, so if my RV comes up stolen, what do I do?
Cry. Next.
Okay, and I have other evidence in regards to my counterclaim.
Well, just tell me what it is. So
Okay,
far, this is
so
nonsense.
I suffer from PTSD and because of an accident, and I have text messages on my phone from her in regards to that.
So?
So that is why I'm countersuing.
Your counterclaim's dismissed. You've been
Okay.
paid. We're done.
Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I helped her when she was homeless, living on the side of her grandmother's house.
It ruined a good friendship because, you know, we were very supportive of one another.
No more free rides. I'm not helping anybody else out.
Did you witness Miss Haygood's dog getting bitten?
I don't believe her dog got bitten.
A dog park dilemma.
You used to say his dog bit yours. He said that they ran into each other.
My dog T-boned the side of her dog. There are sharp objects on her collar, absolutely.
And this owner says she's crying wolf.
My original reaction to it is I was going to take some responsibility.
And then what changed your mind?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Linda Haygood is suing John Yoakum for vet bills resulting from a dog attack at a dog park.
Order. All rise. It's case number 338 on the calendar, the matter of Haygood versus Yoakum.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Ms. Haygood, it is your claim that the defendant's dog bit your dog in a dog park.
Yes.
All the dogs?
On August 28th, a Sunday early morning.
How long have you been taking your dog to the dog park?
About 3.5 years daily.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a greyhound.
He, she?
She.
How much does she weigh?
About 65.
And you, Mr. Yoakum, what kind of dogs do you have?
German Shepherds.
How many?
3.
And how long have you been taking them to the park?
Well, I haven't had all of them since I've been going to the dog park, but I've been going to that dog park for probably roughly the same time, 3 to 3.5 years.
How many dogs were you with on the 28th of August?
4.
You're 3, and who else is?
I have a 13-year-old white Samoyed, another dog.
So you have 4 dogs?
Correct.
And you had all 4 off-leash?
Yes.
Did you witness Miss Haygood's dog getting bitten?
I don't believe her dog got bitten.
She'll show me the vet.
Okay.
Did you witness an interaction between your dog and hers?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I want you to tell me what you observed.
Well...
Right here. I want you to tell me what you observed. I read your answer, so now you tell me what the interaction was that you observed.
Her dog was crossing the dog park. There was other dogs coming in the fence line, and we call it fence talk, or, you know, it's typical for the dogs to all run up to the fence. Her dog's coming across the dog park at 30-ish miles an hour. My dog had also taken off to my German Shepherds. The name is Nala of this particular dog.
How old is that dog?
Nala is probably 4 to 5 years old at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So Nala's going as well. You know, the other multiple dogs usually will get riled up when one dog takes off, which her dog went first, and it sets other dogs.
Just tell me what you observed.
What I observed was her dog veered left. There was a tree in the park as it was running to the fence, and my dog T-boned the side of her dog, not anticipating that action out of her dog.
Don't tell me what your dog anticipated or didn't anticipate.
Okay.
Just tell me what you saw.
I saw my dog.
Your dog T-boned her dog mid-sex, the side.
Correct.
Okay, good. Now, may I see the vet reports, please? I'll take a look at the photograph also.
This and this.
Where's the vet's report? This is the bill. Where's the report?
That's a treatment plan that they gave me. It says what the different items that they're planning to do.
You mean your vet doesn't write down what their findings were?
No, they just say what procedures they're going to do.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is to show this to Mr. Yoakum.
Seen it in person, yes.
And you think that that's from your dog T-boning
Absolutely.
her dog? With what?
They have sharp collars on, and just to
Wait, just
state.
a second. Who has a sharp collar on?
Oh, my dog has dog tags on, collar. We have a chain on her, plus her collar. There are sharp objects on her collar, absolutely.
Either way, if you keep the sharp collar on her, that's your responsibility.
For an incidental of 2 dogs running into each other in a dog park?
That's if I accept what you're telling me happened. Did you call at any time, sir? Because she has her phone here.
Uh-huh.
Did you call Miss Haygood at any time
I did.
that day? Where did you get her number from?
From a woman at the dog park.
Prior to the 28th of August, had you ever called Miss Haygood before?
No.
She wasn't a friend of yours.
An acquaintance at the dog park.
But you didn't have her phone number?
No, absolutely not.
No. And I'd like you to tell me what the purpose was for you calling her on the 28th of August.
I felt awful.
So you called up to say you felt awful, even though, according to you...
My original reaction to it is I was going to take some responsibility.
And then what changed your mind?
Well, for one, I got a letter stating that my dog had bitten her dog, and I don't believe that happened.
Okay, what's
greyhound.
next? I read your answer, and I read her complaint. And from what you just said to me, I don't understand it, and I'm not an expert on greyhounds, but you started to say a greyhound's skin,
Their skin is very thin. It's like a wet papier-mâché dog running in the dog park.
When she says in her complaint that what you said to her at the time was, if it wasn't a greyhound, it wouldn't have been injured.
That's a very good chance of that. Would not have been punctured, yes, or whatever you want to say. I mean, I'm not using the word dog bite. And just can I say this? If you were going to be in a car accident and you knew you were going to rear end another car or run into something, the last thing you would do is open your mouth on your steering wheel or something. I mean, if my dog's mouth was open, it's because it said, oh, I can't say the words, and it hit. I mean, it was a hard collision.
Mr. Yoakum, I have to tell you that I actually don't think, based upon what the plaintiff tells me, and if this is all you have to tell me, correct? I mean, he described the incident. You say his dog bit yours. He said that they ran into each other, right? You don't have anything else to tell me about his dog. You don't have any proof of any prior incidents with his dog. Do you have any proof with you with regard to any prior incidents with this dog from animal control or anyone else? Any authority?
No.
Well, let me tell you what my view of dog parks, unless somebody knowingly takes a vicious dog to a dog park and they have prior knowledge that their dog is that kind of vicious, that if you take your dog to a dog park and your dogs are off leash, and if there is an incident, you have to take care of the incident yourself. That's what I think. Because your dog was no more under your control than Mr. Yoakum's dog was under his control. Neither dog were under your immediate control, either by way of a leash or within 2 feet. According to both of you, they were running free. And there might be incidents. They're two large dogs. So if you want to prevent that, then you keep your dog on a leash and you don't take the dog to a dog park. Unless, of course, Mr. Yoakum had prior knowledge that there were prior incidents involving his dog, which would be your burden to show me. But I believe that you assume a certain amount of risk when you take your dog to a dog park, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, you do. And if you said my dog was under my control, but his dog was not under his control, well, that's a different story. But both dogs were out of the control of their owners. So I don't think he has any responsibility. So it's not that the greyhound's skin was too thin, or maybe it was the collar, or maybe it was the dog tag, or maybe it was something else. I think that people who take their dogs, large or small, to a dog park have to recognize that sometimes dogs will be dogs. What might get them riled up one day wouldn't necessarily the next day. And they may get into a frenzy because there are lots of other dogs there doing lots of other things. So I don't think Mr. Yoakum actually has any responsibility to you. And I think that if you have a dog and you want that dog to be safe, you keep the dog on a leash and you walk it. And if you don't, then you assume a certain amount of risk. That's it. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
At first, you know, looking at it, I was upset. I was upset for her.
He just said that he knew his dog bit my dog.
My dog has never bit another dog in the dog park.
I think it's a joint responsibility.
I felt bad.
And if my dog did damage to somebody else's dog, I would at least share in that liability.
I don't think that my dog did anything wrong.
She's fine. That's the important stuff.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Henderson versus Roberts. Step forward.
24-year-old Carolyn Henderson is suing Stephanie Roberts for unpaid car payments and repair costs for a car she leased to her.
Ms. Henderson, you were looking for somebody to take over your car lease. After graduation from college, according to you, were going abroad to teach. You had a car, couldn't afford both. Where did you advertise?
On Craigslist.
You never met Miss Roberts before?
No, I haven't.
So on what date did you make this arrangement with her to take over your lease?
On February 13th, for less than 10 months.
How much less than 10 months?
She had the car from February 15th, 2015 to November 22nd, 2015.
9 months. And what were you supposed to pay each month for the car?
$290 a month.
Directly to the bank or directly to the
To
finance?
her.
To her.
Yes.
Did you pay her $290 9 times?
No.
How much money do you owe her?
None.
Well, if you had the car for 9 months and you were supposed to pay her $290.
I was paying her more than $290 about halfway through that 9 months. And I also paid her for any late fees.
Should have paid her $2,610. How much did you pay her?
I don't know the total.
How much did she pay you?
Off the top of my head.
If you don't know how much she paid, I rely on her records. How much did she pay you?
Total within the...
How much did she pay you? She doesn't know how much she paid you. So
she paid me $290 each month.
No. Total.
I don't have the exact total. I have, so starting on June...
All right, I just told you.
On September...
I have no time for this. Would you give up my little calculator? 9 months, $290. She should have paid you $2,610. How much did she pay you?
So she paid me $2,610 on September 11th and 83.
You can't raise the payment. You can't unilaterally raise a payment.
She sent me the odometer on September 3rd, and it was already 6,072 miles over her limit of 12,000 miles.
She paid you $2,610. That's what it is. You can't unilaterally change a contract unless you have that in writing from her that she agreed to it. Do you?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. No, it says in September you made an official notice for repossession of the car. That's what you wrote in your complaint.
I did. On September 2nd, I sent her the first notice of repossession of demand to return the vehicle because she failed to provide me proof of insurance, proof of...
All right, she paid you listen. I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What do you claim was in the car when she repossessed the car?
2 car seats and clothing of mine and my children's.
What was clothing doing in the car?
We were living in that car at one point.
And later today...
Did she say she had the money?
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't. She said, I don't have the money, but I can take out a cash advance.
So she told me it wasn't a problem.
Did she or did she not tell you that she could take out a cash advance?
Yes.
Well, that's a problem.
Judge Judy.
Carolyn Henderson says Stephanie Roberts owes for car payments and repair costs for a car she leased to her. Stephanie is countersuing for the value of her belongings.
Now, she had the car 9 months. $290 is what you agreed to. $290 you got each month for the 9 months that she had the car. I
didn't get $290 for the month of November. She never paid me for the month of November.
Just a second. Just a second. You repossessed the car in November. She didn't have the car for the whole month of November.
No, she didn't. She had it until the 22nd. Her payment was due on the 12th. She was 10 days late, according...
Listen to me. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not here to discuss 10 days with you. You had a right to repossess the car because, according to her as well, she was late with payments. But you got all the money you're going to get from her for payments to the car. Now you say there was damage to the car, and because the car was so much over mileage, you were forced to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a that would be a yes.
Yes.
And when did you buy the car?
I bought the car in January.
January of this year?
Yes.
Do you still have the car?
I do.
Good. I hope you enjoy it. You have no case. Now, next, what do you claim was in the car when she repossessed the car?
2 car seats and clothes. We were living in that car at one point.
Bye. Your case is dismissed. So the countersuit. We're done here. Thank you.
Why is that excuse? You may step out.
I think that she's just unhappy.
I repossessed it.
Herself with her decision.
I didn't until she told me the address of where it was.
I don't think we even needed to be here.
Which it was in front of a homeless shelter.
She came and took it without notice.
Drove it off?
I will never do it again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Jolly versus Frazier. Step forward.
Jessica Jolly is suing her former friend, Jennifer Frazier, for an unpaid loan and lost wages.
Miss Jolly, you and Miss Frazier were friends.
No, ma'am. She's my brother's cousin.
But you know her, so
Yes.
you were friendly. You're not related by blood. You were friendly with her.
Yes.
And she had some financial issues that she approached you about when?
On August 8th, 2016.
What were your financial issues?
I had to put a deposit down for one of my utility bills.
Do you work?
I do not. I am a stay-at-home mom.
Who supports you?
I have my son's disability and child support.
How old are your children?
12, 10, and 4.
Well, your son's disability is for your son.
Yes, I got laid off work because I was having heart problems. So I didn't go back to work, and I stayed home with him.
When?
I was working in January for a few months, and then
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been recently hospitalized for any mental disease or defect?
No, ma'am.
Well, something happened in the last couple of months that suggests that she believes that you're supposed to pay her back.
She told me it was a gift. She's lying, Your Honor.
Put your hand down. Don't need you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Jolly says former friend Jennifer Frazier owes for a loan and for causing her to miss work.
So you needed money for a utility bill, otherwise your utility was going to get cut off?
No, it was for a deposit, so I was moving and I needed it turned on.
Where were you moving to?
I moved out of my old house and got my own house.
That you rent?
Yes.
When you asked Miss Jolly for this money, what did you tell her?
That I needed it to pay off one of my bills.
Did you tell her what bill?
I did not. I just told her I had to pay. I needed financial help.
No, that's not. You didn't use those words when you said that.
I had to
She's
pay
a
bill.
working lady. She doesn't make a lot of money, so you would have to have told her that you needed money, like you just told me, to put down in a deposit for your utility bill.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did she say to you? Did she say she had the money?
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't. She said, I don't have the money, but I can take out a cash advance.
Well, she told me it was no problem.
Did she or did she not tell you that she could take out a cash advance?
Yes.
Well, that gift to you wasn't money that she took out of a large savings account. In order to give you the money, she had to take a cash advance out of her credit card that she has to pay back, right?
Yes.
And whose choice is it to be a stay-at-home mom? That would be yours. So why now, when somebody who is not related to you by blood shows you a nice gesture and says, listen, if you're strapped, I'll take a cash advance out and give you the money, why wouldn't you pay her back?
She told me it was a gift.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Well, if she told you it was a gift, then why do you think she's here today?
No idea.
Are you taking any psychotropic medication?
No, ma'am.
Have you been recently hospitalized for any mental disease or defect?
No, ma'am.
Well, something happened in the last couple of months that suggests that she believes that you're supposed to pay her back.
I'm telling you, she told me it was a gift and to pay my bills off because of the kids.
She's lying, Your Honor.
I don't believe that at all. Put your hand down. Don't need you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I would listen to that argument if she said, I have money in my savings account. If you're really strapped for cash, let me...
I get paid weekly, yes.
Are you an hourly worker? Or...
I'm a temporary employee. I get paid hourly.
And what's your hourly wage?
$15.78.
$15.78. That means she has to work about 33 hours. She has to work 33 hours in order to give you $500. That's what the computer says. Do you have any interest on this money?
There's a fee for the loan itself. I have the receipts from that.
You mean from the credit card company?
Yes. The
how much were
advance
the
has
fees?
a fee of $65.
Anything else?
I also lost wages trying to work with her to get the loan repaid.
Next time, don't lend anybody any money that you have to take out a loan for.
I lost the wages trying to meet with her on my lunch hour, and she didn't show.
You don't get paid for that.
She stood me up at least 7 times.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $565.
What about the
We're done.
harassment?
Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
I have
Harassment at 11 o'clock at night.
Harassment?
Came to my house.
These are excused. You may step out. Quiet.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
They claim that I was harassed. No debt that she said that she would pay me back.
She would show up at 11 o'clock at night and then show up at 6 o'clock in the morning and kept blowing my stuff up.
She was more than a friend. She was a sister to me. She lived with me when I was younger.
Because she was a close family friend. She said, I understand you have kids. Here you go.
It's absolute betrayal. I can't believe she did this to me.
I think it's ridiculous because she gave it to me as a gift so I could pay my bill off, and I had extra money, so I paid on some of my friends' court issues, and I think it's crap.
I don't know how far our friendship will go as far as being repaired after this.
It's done.
I will not be borrowing her money again.
Because if she wants to be rude, guess what? It's not worth keeping.
The defendant was dating your daughter for a while.
These parents approved of the new boyfriend.
She said to you, Gage and I would like to go to Florida. Could we use your timeshare?
Right. We thought him to be a nice young man and very respectful to us.
But their opinion changed.
The intent was for him to pay me back.
For him to pay you back for the whole thing? What happened here is they broke up and you want money from him.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Leslie Ferrone is suing her the cost of a plane ticket to Florida.
Order. All rise. It's case number 341 on the calendar in the matter of Ferrone versus Kate. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Ms. Ferrone, the defendant was dating your daughter for a while.
Yes.
And you own a timeshare someplace?
Yes.
Where is the timeshare?
Tahiti Village in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Has your daughter ever been there?
No.
When did you purchase it?
2006.
How often do you get to use it?
We exchange it. We never really go there. We exchange it to use somewhere else usually.
Since 2006, you've never been there?
We've been there once, and the reason why we don't go there is the pool is only 3.5 feet deep, and
whatever reason.
whatever. Yeah.
Whatever reason. You bought it and don't use it much, so you try to go someplace else.
Yes.
And your daughter has never been there?
No.
And she wanted to go with her boyfriend. How old is your daughter?
24.
Having had children.
Yes.
And knowing what they do. You have other children?
No.
She's it.
She's it.
So she came to you and said, what's your first name?
Gage.
Gage and I want to go. Could we use the timeshare in Las Vegas?
Actually, we were exchanging that. They wanted to go to Florida, to Orlando.
Okay. So she said, could we use your timeshare?
Right.
And at the time she said that to you, were you there?
Yes.
And I want you to tell me what the conversation was if you were there, talking about exchanging this timeshare because you have the timeshare.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Your Honor, I did not know about the exchange. I originally thought that the timeshare was in Florida.
Okay.
I had actually heard about it through my ex.
Through their daughter?
Yes. And we were supposed to go to Florida. Well, originally I heard about the timeshare as, like, she was going herself. And then...
You mean your girlfriend?
Yes. And she had mentioned... sometime in October, late October.
And how long had you been dating then?
We'd only been dating two months, Your Honor.
At the time you heard of the timeshare?
Right.
Okay. So then tell me how it came about that you got involved if she was supposed to go by herself.
Well, originally that's what I had heard, and I'd never asked to go or any of that. But after 2 months of dating her, I've never been anywhere really. I've never been out of New England, never been on a plane before. This is my first time doing all that. But
too much information for
sorry.
me.
Anyway, so we were supposed to go on a timeshare, and we'd only been dating 2 months, and I jumped on the opportunity.
All right, now that's a scripted thing you wrote in your head, and I'm asking you for conversation.
Okay.
You're in the room with your girlfriend, whose first name is?
Ashley.
Ashley. Now, like to go. And what did her mother say to you? Or you say to her?
Well, I originally said there's no way I could afford to take a trip. I don't make that much.
The timeshare doesn't cost you anything.
There is a fee to exchange it.
Fine. What's the fee to exchange it?
$179.
It's a fee of $179. Now, you had discussed going with your daughter going even before him.
No.
Really?
No.
Did you ever exchange the timeshare and let her go use a time? Listen to me carefully. Did your daughter go to college?
Yes.
Are you telling me that there was never a time that you exchanged the Las Vegas timeshare week for another timeshare week someplace else so that your daughter could go someplace else?
No, we did not.
She never went anyplace?
No.
Since 2006? How many weeks do you have a timeshare?
I own 3 weeks at different properties. I think I need to clarify something. She didn't become our daughter till she was 19 years old. She's adopted, and not that that's anything, but she's every much our daughter as anyone else's. And we do family vacations.
So she's never gone alone?
No, and that was never the intent of the trip. She would never go anyplace by herself for a week.
Okay, so right now you have a fee for the exchange of $179.
And another fee of the owners, and if the owner doesn't go, you have to transfer that to someone else. And they can take someone, but these are non-refundable fees.
Fine, so we have a couple of $100. Go ahead, keep going.
What happened here was...
what happened here is they broke up and you want money from him. Now, you also booked an airplane ticket for him.
And I have that here.
Just a second. Did you pay for that airplane ticket in points or cash?
One ticket was in points, one ticket was in cash.
Was his ticket in points or cash?
His ticket to Florida was in points, which I had to buy more points. I didn't have enough. And his ticket coming back was in cash, and I have receipts.
And what arrangement did you make, if any, that I'm going to believe with him to pay for this?
Okay. Mr. Kate was dating our daughter.
Don't start from the beginning. I'm way past the end. I'm almost there.
All right.
And the fairy tale is over.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
So far, you've got a couple of $100 in fees
Right.
For your daughter.
Right.
And her boyfriend. And you have an airplane ticket that you secured with points and a one-way for cash for Mr. Kate. All I want to know from you now is what discussion did you have with him about money?
Okay, he was at our house for dinner one evening, and he had been at our house several young men and very respectful to us. And I think that's important because I would not have offered to pay for the ticket that was non-refundable.
Would you please tell me what conversation that you had with him about paying for the ticket?
I said, if I purchase these tickets for you, I will outlay the money and the money for the timeshare, the exchange. And the intent was for him to pay me back. He agreed, and we shook hands.
For him to pay you back for the whole thing, for the timeshare exchange?
No, half and half. We split the fee. Ashley paid half, and he paid half. He was to pay half.
What I'm asking you is, your daughter is working?
My daughter was not working full-time at the time.
So what I'm asking you is whether or not she paid you back for her half.
She did.
When?
I think it was, I'm not sure of the date, but it was sometime after they broke up. So it was sometime during the month of October. She paid me $104 for that timeshare fee.
So she paid you $104. And what about her plane ticket?
Her plane ticket, I bought her plane ticket because I got her tickets with my points.
So you got her entire ticket with points?
With my points, yes.
Just a second. You got her her entire ticket with your points?
Yes.
And she didn't pay you back any money for
was
$104. And how much was Mr. Kate's plane ticket?
His plane ticket on the way out was valid.
Forget way out.
Total?
Way back.
Total.
No. The way back that you say you paid for his in cash.
I paid $116.60 for his return ticket.
$116.60
and $140 for his ticket. That was the value of it.
Don't give me the value. I'm not interested in the value.
Okay.
Couldn't care less.
Okay.
This whole thing was sort of nonsense to me. Did anybody use the timeshare?
No.
So what did you do with your daughter's miles? Did you put them back in the bank? Listen to me carefully.
Yes.
I do know about those things. If you cancel a ticket within a certain period of time, you can rebank the miles for a fee. Did you do that with your daughter's round-trip plane ticket?
Well, on the Southwest flight, I did. I did. But on the other flight, I could not.
Well, you know, you see that I'm unsympathetic with you. I'm really unsympathetic with this whole business.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had to take out a loan because you had debt. You're telling her intimate things about yourself, like hemorrhoid medication, and you're telling her, though, on this trip.
And later today,
before he paid for the car so he could get the car out of impound, that's what you wrote here. You wanted him to sign the car.
Yeah, because they said if I got my license with Dean, I could pull it out.
You wanted him to trust you.
Yeah.
Why?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Leslie Ferrone says her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Gage Kate, owes for a plane ticket to Florida.
Mr. Kate, now I want you to... Fair. Nothing but fair. Did you tell the plaintiff that you would split the cost of the rebooking fee at the condo in Florida?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Did you tell her that if she laid out the money for your plane ticket, cash, for your plane ticket, that you would reimburse her?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
What did you tell her with regard to the basic cost of the trip? What was your contribution supposed to be?
Well, Your Honor, I had actually taken out a loan at the time, and that's why we were discussing this trip. I took it out to get myself out of debt and consolidate my payments, and I also needed repairs done on my car. And I told him if I had anything left over, you know, I would more than likely take the trip with them.
So that you were going to pay for certain costs.
Discussed any of the final details, Your Honor.
I don't care if you discuss the final details. If what you said is I'm taking out a loan.
But it wasn't for that.
I don't care what it was for. I mean, other than that, what would she be interested for? What you were making for breakfast yesterday? Or what you were having for dinner? You discussed with her the fact that you were taking out a loan to consolidate certain bills, to make certain payments, and from that money, you would pay for your end of the trip, not her daughter's end of the trip, but your end of the trip. Otherwise, there's no reason for her to have the information that you're taking out a consolidation loan. That's just like there's no interest that she would have in whether or not you use hemorrhoid medicine. Do you understand? There's no reason for her to have that information.
Right.
I mean, but to have that information, you are saying for some reason you cannot budget yourself so that you had to take out a loan because you had debt. I mean, you're telling her all those things. You're telling her intimate things about yourself, like hemorrhoid medication, and you're telling her those intimate things about yourself because you want to go on this trip. Okay, it's not a big deal. Miss Verona, $220. It's $104 and $116 for the return flight. If you could have banked your daughter's miles, you should have put it in a place where you could rebank his. $220. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think it's very petty.
I don't think I'll be buying any more plane tickets for anybody but my immediate family.
Especially from somebody who has as much money as they do.
If you're sealing the deal with the handshake, you should have integrity as a person.
Well, I'm never going on a trip again unless we've been dating for like at least a year.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lopez versus Lopez. Step forward.
Alfonso Lopez says Joey Lopez owes for a car he sold him, as well as tow and storage fees, and a ticket.
You two are not related, is that
No,
correct?
ma'am.
Okay. Before you sold him your car, did you know each other?
No, I didn't.
You advertised the car for sale?
Yes.
Where?
I believe on Offers Up. It's a website.
And you never met him before?
I met him through my partner.
So you did know him before?
No, I met him when the transaction happened. I never met him before. I've heard of him, but I never met him.
Okay, you knew each other?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so there was some... I was just trying to figure out why you would sell him a used car that was your car and accept just a down payment to somebody that you didn't know at all. But there was a connection.
Yes, there was a connection.
Okay. And you sold him the car, according to you, for $1,800.
Yes, ma'am.
And he gave you a down payment of $800.
Yes.
And the idea he was supposed to pay $100 a month, a week, every month.
Yes.
Okay. But he only gave you $100. So now he's paid $900 for the $1,800 car. So he's paid for half of it. And when did he give you the $800? Month?
I believe it was like a month and a week after.
Well, give me the month and year.
I believe it's September.
Is that when you purchased the car in September?
No, before that.
Oh, no. It was pretty, we did the paperwork on 8/11, I'm sorry, 2016.
But he didn't pick up the car until...
I actually gave it to him that day. We made a little contract.
Yeah, I see the contract,
Sure.
please. And you let him take the car with just a deposit, or...
Yes, but I actually withheld the pink slip.
The title. No, I understand. Okay, so this is what happened. You were driving the car, and you got pulled over.
Yes.
When?
I believe it was August 20. It's towards the last week of the month.
So within 3 weeks of having the car.
Yes.
And you were pulled over for whatever you were pulled over for, but they discovered that you didn't have a driver's license.
Yes.
So they impounded the car.
Yes.
And now you've paid $900 for the car, but you didn't fully pay for the car. And I assume that you called Mr. Lopez and let him know what happened.
Well, no, I called to his partner because I never had his...
The same day that it happened?
Yeah, that night I let him know. After that,
That it was impounded?
Yes.
And what date was that?
That was on the end of September. I don't know exact date, Your Honor.
No, it couldn't have been the end of September if he was pulled over in August.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was on the 26th.
Of what?
Of August.
I actually have his ticket.
Okay, so tell me the conversation that you had.
So he called me that evening. I believe he said he was coming home from work and that he was dropping off somebody. And when he was turning the left on, I'm not exactly what street it was, that a cop came behind him and pulled him over. Therefore, they did...
Whatever, they took his car.
Yes.
Now, so now we have this situation, which is not unusual. Now the car is an impound. You have the title.
Yes.
So they can't release the car to him because he has no license. You didn't know he had no license?
No.
Because that's not something you usually ask somebody, an adult, do you have a driver's license? If you're buying a car, you presuppose that they have a driver's license if you're selling a used car party to party. So what he wants you to do is sign the pink slip over to him so he can go get the car. That's what he says. That's what he says in his answer. So what he wanted you to do was, before he paid for the car, so he could get the car out of impound, that's what you wrote here. You wanted him to sign the car
Yeah,
over.
because they said if I got my license within I could pull it out.
Well, why would he? You wanted him to trust you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's suing for storage fees. Now, you could have gone down and said, you know what, I got $900 for this car. I'm not giving it to him.
But I couldn't because they put a 30-day hold on it. That's where the 2,000-something come in.
They put a 30-day hold. May I see that,
yes,
please?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alfonso Lopez is suing Joey Lopez for tow and storage fees, the unpaid cost of a car, and an unpaid ticket.
Here's your problem with your lawsuit, sir. You have no problem with part of your lawsuit.
Okay.
And that is for the full value of the car.
Okay.
But you let the car sit there in storage.
Well, technically.
No, not technically.
Okay, hold on.
You're suing for storage fees. Now, you could have gone down and said, you know what, I got $900 for this car. I'm not giving it to him.
But I couldn't because they put a 30-day hold on it. He actually gave him the ticket.
Just a second. They put a 3-day. So are you telling me in the 3 days
30.
that it was on 30?
Yes. That's where the 2,000-something come in.
They put a 30-day hold. May I see that,
yes,
please?
ma'am.
What is this one?
Right here.
And right here. It says 30 days.
And right here it says 30 days. And here's his ticket.
So you couldn't take it out?
No. I tried to. So he wouldn't pay all the storage fees.
I'm going to pay $3,000 for storage fees for a car that's only worth $1,800.
Exactly. And he actually contacted...
All I want you to do is show me where it says that there's a 30-day hold on the car.
Can I go?
No.
Would you ask him just to show that to me?
Right here, it says 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah, it's very highlighted.
Very vague. 30 days hold.
Right on the top. It says 30 days.
And the reason why we have his ticket, because he contacted Justin and told him, here's my ticket. Can you have Alfonso try to get the car out? I went in. It was closed that day, so I went, I believe 2 days after, which was on Monday. I went in at 11 o'clock to see if they would release the car, and they told me the only way they would release it if I would say he stole it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
That was the only way they would...
They're making you an insurer. They're making people uninsured to ask that question if you sell somebody a car or if you let them borrow the car, let me see your driver's license.
Yes.
If I say to Bird, I'd like to borrow your car, he says to me, fine, you know, I just need it for an hour. He said, let me see your driver's license.
Exactly.
They want people to do that so that you don't have unlicensed people driving around. Yeah, right, I got it. Well, it's sort of interesting. They made you an insurer of his good behavior. You owe him $3,800. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
All these are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I don't know. She didn't give me a chance to say anything, so...
I'm very happy with it.
I still think it's unfair.
He was supposed to make $250 payments.
The contract was he wanted all the money at once.
Every month. And he fell back on his contract.
My license had expired, so I need to get it redone.
I'll try to get the car out.
Make sure I have everything ready.
Cash front, no car.
Speaking out after a savage dog attack.
She got aggressive. She had him in her mouth. She shook him 2 or 3 times. He was crying. He was in an awful lot of pain.
But the other dog's owners...
Did she give you her phone number?
Yes, she did.
Didn't want to hear it.
Need you leaving me messages like this?
He called, yelling at me. He said, well, we should have talked man to man.
What does that mean, you should have talked man to man?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Michelle Neal is suing Valerie and Jose Betancourt for vet bills resulting from an attack at a dog park.
Order. All rise. It's case number 355 on the calendar in the matter of Neal versus Betancourt.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Neal, it is your claim that the Betancourt's German Shepherd attacked your dog.
That's correct.
And caused serious injury. Your vet bills were very high. The Betancourts say that they're very sorry that your dog was attacked, but it was some other German Shepherd. So tell me when and where this happened.
On October 22nd, my boyfriend Jesse...
Of this year?
Of this year, 2016. My boyfriend Jesse and I were at the park with my grandson and my granddaughter. We were walking on the dog path, which is generally where you walk, where you're just going to walk with your dog, not throw the ball. There's a field for that. So Jack was about 2 or 3 feet ahead of us when I noticed another German. Yes, this would be Jack.
On a leash.
Not on a leash, because it's an off-leash park, but there are regulations, and I do have copies of the park rules and regulations. And he was just about 2 or 3 feet ahead of us when I noticed another dog, German Shepherd, come off to the side, start sniffing around. That's usually how they say hi. They sniff each other.
Okay, so this was a large dog that was alone.
A large German Shepherd. She did not appear at that time to have an owner.
Well, you assumed that someone was around. She didn't look like a stray dog.
Right.
Go ahead.
So after she nosed Jack a couple times, sniffed him, I thought, well, this is okay. She got aggressive. She picked him up by his sweater. She had him in her mouth. She shook him 2 or 3 times, pretty aggressively.
So he was wearing a sweater?
Yes, he was wearing a dog sweater. At that point, my boyfriend Jesse intervened, pulled the German Shepherd off. I reached down to grab Jack. I got a couple defensive wounds on both my hands because he was spinning in a circle. He was just frantic. Before I could pick him up, the dog escaped its collar again, grabbing Jack.
So the German Shepherd got out of his collar?
Yes, slipped out of the collar, which was not on tight, and that is an assumption. I will say that because I didn't see the collar, and picked him up again.
But your boyfriend was holding him back?
Yes.
And he slipped out and came in back and attacked your dog again?
Yeah.
Well, were you holding your dog at that time?
I had not been able to retrieve him. She swooped in again, pulled her off, and restrained her. At that time, a bystander, I don't know who she was, God bless her, helped me. We threw my jacket around Jack, picked him up, and held him close like that. And it was very difficult to do because he was in a lot of pain. He was crying. He was in an awful lot of pain.
Where was the German Shepherd at that time?
Jesse had her restrained.
Okay.
And while he was restraining her at that point, that's when I noticed Miss Betancourt come up. She did offer an apology.
She?
Yes, she. She offered an apology. She had small children with her.
What did she say? She didn't say, I apologize. What did she say?
She was sorry.
She said, I'm sorry. What else did she say?
At that time, I have got to be honest, admit, I was more concerned with Jack, and Jack was still yelping. All I heard was, I'm sorry. My conversation with her was that I wanted her phone number because we were going to leave immediately to take our dog to the veterinarian.
Did she give you her phone number?
Yes, she did.
Who wrote down the phone number?
I put it in my phone. We didn't have pens or pencils,
Okay. Took the dog to the vet. Can I see the vet bills, please?
Yes. I'd like to hand him off because he's not real comfortable. You're not comfortable, Jack. I'm really sorry. Okay, let me flip to the back. This would be the initial vet bill. There was an additional vet bill. This is the breakdown of how those charges were.
Now, I assume you had the dog tended to by a veterinarian and surgery was completed. On what date did you contact her?
Well, actually, I contacted her immediately, hours after the initial incident.
Okay.
It wasn't just one vet visit.
Okay. So she gave you her correct phone number.
She did.
And can you tell me the conversation that you had with her?
I was not able to converse with her when I first tried to call her and text her. I got no response. And then I need to explain that at that time there was a lot of trauma. We hadn't even been able to get Jack out of our car. He was in so much pain. There was a lot of trauma.
When did you finally reach Miss Betancourt?
Later on in the late afternoon.
Of the 22nd?
Yes.
And tell me about the conversation.
She called me back and she was upset with me for leaving messages insisting that she call, insisting that they talk to us about doing the right things.
Just a second. I want you to tell me what she said.
Well, when I first picked up the phone and she called, her tone was irate, and it was along the lines of, I don't need you leaving me messages like this. I don't need you calling me.
What kind of messages did you leave?
My last message I left her was after numerous attempts to call her, and I was distraught, and I was irate, and I was, you need to contact us.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so she said, you have to stop leaving me messages like this, and then?
And then when I spoke to her, the end of our conversation was, your husband needs to contact Jesse. They need to talk about how we're going to resolve this issue.
And what did you...
It did take place.
So her husband contacted your boyfriend?
Well, there were things that happened in between. I'll make it as brief as I can.
I just want to know what your conversations were with the defendants.
Okay.
I want to hear how they responded. Did you have the next conversation?
He had the next conversation.
Tell me what your last name is, sir.
Lara, L-A-R-A.
Mr. Lara, you spoke to Mr. Betancourt?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall the date?
On the 23rd, the day after.
The day after. You contacted him.
He finally called me. I just walked out of the police department to file a report. He called, yelling at me.
What did he say?
Saying that there's no reason for us to be harassing his wife. She's very ill. She gets panic attacks where she falls down and she's immobilized for 30 minutes or so. Things we didn't know.
What did he say?
He said that, flat out told me that we had no case. And I said, Joey, we do have a case against you. He said, well, we should have talked man to man. And I just said...
What does that mean, you should have talked man to man?
I never said those words.
Well, tell me what you said.
What I said was I just was a little irate about how the conversation was going between them two. And he said, all I want to do is I just want to meet with you guys and go over exactly what happened. Well, that's great. Be adults, because we're all adults. Explain to me what happened. I'd love to meet with you.
Well,
I never once said, let's talk man to man. That's not my lingo. So that's kind of all that happened was that he just... At the park?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I was.
Oh.
Yes, I was at the park.
So I want you to tell me you were there with your wife and how many children?
3. We have 3.
How old are they?
2-year-old. Well, she's going to be 2. 8 and 10. Sorry.
Now, when your wife came up to the plaintiffs, where were you?
I was kind of still in the back.
In the back where?
Like running from the field going to that location. I kind of have a bad back, so running that way was going to be a problem. So.
What were you running from the field for?
To see what was going on. She started running with the baby.
Just a minute. So she's holding the baby and started to run.
Right.
And you were running after her.
Correct.
You didn't know why you were running after her?
All I seen was a big tussle going on over there, and I was just running to see what's going on with her, because she just took off with my son, so. And she was running towards that. It's a big field.
How big?
2 football fields, probably. It's kind of long, yeah.
So you were 2 football fields away from where your wife started running to where the action was?
Correct.
When you finally got to where your wife and baby were, did you see the plaintiffs?
I did.
What was Mr. Lara doing?
He was standing there. I mean, he was holding a dog.
And where was your dog?
Nowhere to be found. Just kind of ran away.
Just a second.
Correct.
Your dog was nowhere. Me. You have anything to say to me?
Yes.
Just be careful what you say to me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I have some evidence of some of the voice messages that Michelle had left me.
I don't care. What your responsibility was to say, I was not in control of my dog. I was not in control of my dog. My dog caused damage, whatever the damage is, because I was not in control of my dog. Just because the dog can be off leash doesn't mean you can't be in control of your dog. So you should have called her back immediately, because she's upset, just as you would be upset if her little dog ran up to your 2-year-old and bit your 2-year-old.
I understand.
You would be very upset if she didn't have control of her dog. And this little dog did damage to your 2-year-old. You would be upset. And if you call and you don't get a response because you're being blown off, because you see that it's going to cost you money, because you know that the dog was injured, and your stupid answer says, it wasn't my German Shepherd. What's your name?
Adam Lawson.
And you bring along this fibber over here. You said, I have a witness that said my dog was with us all the time. That would be you. They brought you along to be the fibber. Because your friend here says the dog was 2 football fields away. Do you understand? Don't let anybody make a fool out of you. I didn't want to make a fool out of you. Put your hand down. I didn't want to make a fool out of you. He made a fool out of you. In front of me?
Your Honor.
I eat you for breakfast.
Your Honor, you
Judgment
asked...
for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was obvious by numerous text messages I had from her that this was their dog.
It was another dog. It was another dog.
I am saddened that we had to chase them because we gave them an opportunity of their own accord.
Just the text messages, the voicemails. You know, I have 3 kids. I don't have time to sit there on my phone, you know.
To come to us and talk to us about this situation.
All day, and if I didn't respond within 30 minutes, they're leaving me messages that they were going to euthanize my dogs.
Accept responsibility. If you're going to have a dog owner, or a child for that matter, you are responsible for their actions.
So, you know, of course, we're going to bite back. We're not going to, you know, allow somebody to make threats to us and think that it's okay.
And that's what it comes down to. And if you give someone your word, practice integrity. Do what you say you're going to do.
We're just laying low for a little bit, you know, and we'll leave it at that.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Boucher versus Schaefer. Step forward.
Angelica Boucher is suing her brother-in-law, Charles Schaefer,
for an unpaid loan during a time of need.
Ms. Boucher, the defendant is this is your husband?
Yes, my husband, Mike.
Okay, and you claim that you made a loan to him. When did you make this loan to him?
It was November the 23rd, 2015.
What was it for?
It was because he was having a hardship and...
What was the loan for?
To pay his bills.
Just bills?
Yes.
You have a business?
I have a business, yes.
And your business, from what I gather from reading the papers, employed the plaintiff's husband.
Yes.
For how many years?
15.
Do you work?
No, I don't.
So your husband supported you?
Yes.
Supported you from money that he got from Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to tell me what the money was for, because I'm not buying this whole case so far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She's been diagnosed with something called Wagner's, and those chemo treatments, they're not covered entirely by insurance.
Just a second. I want you to understand what you just said to me, Mr. Schaefer. It's completely different from what you said to me in your answer.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Angelica Boucher says her brother-in-law, Charles Schaefer, owes for a loan.
What was the money for? He's the employer. Your husband's the employee. You don't work.
The money was to pay his bills because he was going through a hardship.
What was the hardship?
My sister depressed for 2 years, and she was the one that worked all the time, and they had money coming in. So the business got slow, and he needed the money.
I'd like to see the check that you gave him. Who wrote out the check?
My husband, Michael.
And do you have your bank account?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. I'd like you to tell me where you had... Your husband worked for him, and you weren't working. So could you tell me where you got $32,000 from?
It was a settlement. It was an accident that I had.
Your accident?
Yes.
When?
2008.
And when was it settled?
About 5 years ago.
How much did you get?
The amount that you see there, 32.
Do you have your checking account?
No, I don't have my checking account.
Let's get it. We'll recall this case. Because what you say is that you gave him $9,999 as a loan, but you took out money from a savings account and transferred it to a checking account on November 24th.
That is correct.
Right. Yeah.
Send a copy of my checking account?
Yes. That's what I want to see. We'll recall this case. Thank you.
Parties are excused. This case will be recalled. Step out, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you own your own home?
We do.
Did you take a mortgage out on your home?
We sold our home.
Because of this?
Because of this.
Tell me about the money that you took from your sister-in-law.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. In a case recall from earlier today, Angelica Boucher says her brother-in-law, Charles Schaefer, owes for a loan.
Recall. Case number 295 in the matter of Boucher versus Schaefer. Parties are reminded you're still under oath.
All right, Ms. Boucher, can I see the bank records from Chase for your checking account, please? All right, Mr. Schaefer, now you want to tell me what you needed this money for?
Well, it goes back to August 2013. My wife started feeling very ill.
I don't want to go back to 2013.
So now, snap forward. She's been diagnosed with something called Wagner's. And Wagner's is treated with chemo. And those chemo treatments they're not covered entirely by insurance. And they are $36,000 every treatment, 4 times a week for 5 weeks. That amount of money, and we had to do it consecutively 3 times.
Just a second. I want you to understand what you just said to me, Mr. Schaefer. It's completely different from what you said to me in your answer. You said you had to pay $36,000 4 times a week for 3 different rounds of treatment. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the treatments were $36,000, and that's what the treatments were, and our out-of-pocket was $6,000.
Okay, well, we forgot that. So you're telling me that you had to pay $24,000 a week.
Correct.
For 3 consecutive rounds of treatment. Is that correct?
It was 4 treatments. It's 4 treatments in 1 week.
But he said it was done 3 times.
Every 6 months, 3 times.
every 6 months, so that you had to pay approximately $75,000.
Correct.
Over what period of time?
That was over 18 months.
And is that why you needed this money?
That was a great deal of it, yes.
What was the rest of it?
Well, also, she had to do hyperbaric treatments for 30 days. Those were as well $2,500 every single day.
Do you own your own home?
We do.
Did you take mortgage out on your home?
We sold our home.
Because of this?
Because of this.
In a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, tell me about the money that you took from your sister-in-law.
They gave us the money because they knew that we had nothing left.
It's an odd amount of money, $9,999. Could you explain that to me?
I don't know where they came up with exactly that amount of money.
Where did you come out with that amount of money?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I thought that would be the best amount in case we ever had to reclaim this money. It would be a lot easier to go to a small claims court, any amount under $10,000. So that's why I just lowered it by $1.
By $1?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a seat. I got it. Did you expect to be repaid?
Yes, Your Honor.
How?
He told me that in 3 months he was going to give me back the loan.
Did you ever tell her that?
I wouldn't have told her that. I didn't have any money to be able to tell her that. I told Michael, actually, that snapping forward, when they started telling me that it was a loan, that if it was a loan, I would have never accepted it because I wouldn't have been able to pay it back.
How much do you have left in your savings account now, Miss O'Shea?
About $1,700.
Is your wife better?
I'm not.
He gave me a check for February the 28th for 2016 for $2,500 for the loan.
I'd like to see.
And on that, Your Honor, and on that check?
Don't do that. Well, you gave her $2,500, sir, in February, and you wrote in that balance $7,500. Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of my maximum, which is $5,000. That's all we're done.
Judge Judy, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I thought they were being family members
I was just trying to help them as family members. I didn't even know that my sister was sick.
and wanting to help us in a time of need.
I'm sad to hear that she's been sick, but we didn't know anything about it.
Watching my wife near death.
She's been sick for 2 years, and he never talked. He doesn't really speak that much.
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. My wife is still here, and we've made it through it so far.
I loaned them for, like I said, for the business.
It's been a long road for all of us. I'm glad to see it's over.
It wasn't because of her illness.
And now we can all just kind of move forward. My wife and I still have a long...
Hope that she gets better, and we move on.
Incident.
Mr. Shepherd came running at me and with full force pushed me off the lawnmower.
I reached out and I literally just touched him on the shoulder.
Come on, guys. If you're getting the idea that I'm not crazy about this case, you're right.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Michael Shepherd is suing his neighbor, James Morrison, for disposing of his boat cover and harassment.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 353 on the calendar in the matter Shepherd versus Morrison. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Thank you, Bert. Where do you come from, Mr. Shepherd?
I'm Australian born.
And where do you live now?
Belle Plaine, Minnesota.
And how long have you lived there?
Since April of this year, Your Honor.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a mechanic.
And you, Mr. Morrison?
I'm South African and I live in Belle Plaine, Minnesota, and for a profession I do cybersecurity.
Did you know each other before you came here? Or before you migrated here?
No, Your Honor.
You did not?
No, Your Honor.
And how long have you been neighbors, Mr. Shepherd?
Since April, so 6-7 months.
It is your claim that the defendant disposed of a boat cover that belonged to you, that you had recently purchased?
No, it actually came with the boat when I purchased it, Your Honor.
When did you purchase the boat?
2011.
Where?
It was a private sale in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
So it wasn't a new boat cover?
No, it was not, Your Honor.
When you say in your complaint that it was a very expensive boat cover, how do you acquire that information, Mr.
Basically, because it's for a 1985 boat, so the boat cover has to be custom made. It's not something I can buy off the shelf. And I did have a boat cover, and Mr. Morrison here disposed of my boat cover.
Okay, so the boat cover at best was 30 years old.
No, it was a lot newer than that. At most, it was 6 or 7 years old.
Well, it couldn't have been 6 or 7 years old because it wasn't a new boat cover when you bought the boat.
It was a lot newer than it was now, Your Honor.
What?
It definitely wasn't a 30-year-old boat cover.
Okay. You have a picture of the boat cover, sir?
Not on the boat. I've got pictures of replacement boat
No,
covers.
no, no. I'm not interested in replacements. I'm interested in a picture of your boat and the boat cover.
No, Your Honor.
So I see what it looks like. Okay. Because, Mr. Morrison, you're the asked you to clean up the property around his house, and what you did was you found this old moldy tarp that was all ripped up. You thought it was trash, and you disposed of it. That's your response.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Who's the landlord?
My witness here.
That would be you.
Yep.
Okay, stand up, please.
Your Honor, James...
Don't speak. You're the landlord.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what kind of property is this?
It's a two-lot place with an extra building on the other lot, which is the place that Mike is inhabiting.
And your last name, sir?
Tulson.
Mr. Tulson, does Mr. Morrison ever do any work for you?
He does from time to time.
Okay, what kind of work does Mr. Morrison do for you?
He helps kind of take care of the property in exchange
Okay, so he
for-
does maintain the property.
From time to time, yes.
Well, from time to time, you pay him on an ad hoc basis. You'll call and say, would you please clean up the premises? Or
No,
does he do it regularly? Do you pay him a monthly salary? Come on, guys. If you're getting the idea that I'm not crazy about this case, you're right. Do you understand?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Good. I'm very glad you understand.
To be perfectly honest...
I don't want you to be anything but perfectly honest, sir. I don't want you to be dishonest. That would be a very dumb thing for you to do.
The boat cover has very little to do with this. There's been interactions between the two.
I don't care.
Okay. Then to answer your
let me
question...
explain something to you. This is the beginning of my day. I don't plan... You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then let's get this case moving.
Okay.
Mr. Shepard says that Mr. Morrison, on a date certain, which was what date?
It was around August 10.
Around, because you don't know exactly. For some strange reason, disposed of your boat cover. Mr. Morrison says that he maintained the property, which you acknowledge, and that he says this was a torn-up, old, moldy thing, but it was on Mr. Shepard's premises.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Correct? And he says that he disposed of it because you asked him to clean up the property. Did you ask him to clean up the property on or about August 10th?
That's a very misleading question. I never asked him to clean up the property.
Great. Now, Mr. Morrison, then I come back to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
You actually were on the plaintiff's property because that's where the tarp, let's call it a tarp/cover, was located.
That's correct.
Right. Did you, prior to disposing of the cover, did you ask Mr. Shepard whether this was his and did he want it disposed of? The answer is either yes or no.
Can you repeat the question?
Very easy. I'll try to simplify it. On or about August 10th, did you ask Mr. Shepard that this item that was on his property was something he didn't want to keep and he wanted it disposed of?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, then, Mr. Morrison, this is a very easy person who was renting the property and disposed of that property without asking them. The fact that, put your hand down, the fact that you claim that the witness asked you to dispose of it does not doesn't contradict that. Because I assume Mr. Shepard is a paying tenant, which means he has exclusive occupancy. Get out. Out. What you didn't understand. Out. Perfect. I'm gonna go that way. Now, you have to ask before you go on somebody's property and dispose of anything.
I understand.
Anything, a loaf of bread, a weed, anything. Because, you know, there's an old expression, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So you can't go on somebody else's property and say, this looks like trash to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's it. So you have to
Your
pay.
Honor, may I, at the time, I did offer to go and buy at the local sports to buy another cover to replace it.
You bought one?
No, I said I would, and Mr. Tollefson said, no, hang on, I'll take care of it, because whose boat is
Morrison
this actually?
show today. This is my show today. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. You need a big tarp to cover your boat that's 30 years old.
Your
Right?
Honor.
Go buy one for $150.
Your Honor, the
150.
strange
Now
part-
I'm going to talk about his assault. You want to tell me about that? After you disposed of this cover, a week later, you want to tell me what happened. Now, keep it short, Mr. Morrison.
Your Honor, I used to...
Keep it short, Mr. Morrison.
All right. I used to use Ricky's lawn mower with his permission to cut both his property and my property. You know, that's what neighbors do.
No, I don't let my neighbors use my lawnmower.
Okay.
I don't use their toothbrush. They don't use my
I used
lawnmower.
it with his permission. I was cutting the lawn, and out
That's
of
a
the
lie,
corner
Your
of
Honor.
my
I don't want to hear you.
Okay, Your Honor.
out of the corner of my eye, I saw something rushing towards me, and I was going at full tilt.
Date.
Now with
Date. You can sit down.
9/29.
You can sit down. What?
9/29.
September 29th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you saw someone. I'm going to look at that. You saw someone rushing at you, and
He was waving his arms wildly, swearing at me, complaining that I was, the lawnmower was throwing rocks and grass at his vehicle. And I felt threatened.
just a second. You
Yes.
felt?
And I turned around to him and I said, nobody speaks to me like that. And I put the earmuffs back on, put the machine up at full power, and I proceeded to mow the lawn.
On his lawnmower.
On Mr. Tollefson's lawnmower, Your Honor.
On your lawnmower.
Yes.
I wasn't clear. It wasn't Mr. Shepard's lawnmower. It was your lawnmower.
But it was on my lot, Your Honor.
I don't care. That I don't care about.
Okay.
If you choose to allow the landlord to keep... If you choose to allow the landlord to keep the lawnmower on your property for your convenience, that doesn't make it your lawnmower.
Oh, yes,
Do you
Your
understand?
Honor.
Good. Now, don't say anything else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. Shepard came running at me and with full force pushed me off the lawnmower. I fell off the lawnmower. Luckily, I did not get injured because it was going at full.
Good.
And later today,
It's kind of ridiculous for me to believe that Mr. Johnston said, you know what, I'll just take $35 in cash, and on the outside chance that you can hook me up with some marijuana, I'll take the rest off. Do you understand what I'm saying?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Disposed of his boat cover. James is countersuing for assault.
Go ahead.
Mr. Shepard came running at me and with full force pushed me off the lawnmower. I fell off the lawnmower. Luckily, I did not get injured because it was going at full.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Now I'll see the police report. Pen ran out of ink. Okay, so pretty much the story. James was mowing his neighbor's lawn and claimed he was pushed off his lawnmower by Michael. That would be you?
That would be me.
Michael said James was kicking up rocks and hitting his car with the lawnmower. No damages, no injuries. Both were advised not to speak to each other if they cannot get along. Both agreed not to talk to each other and go their separate ways. And that's the extent of it.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Your
Now,
Honor,
all I want to know from you, Mr. Shepard, is did you push?
No, Your Honor.
Let me finish. Did you push Mr. Morrison off the lawnmower?
Your Honor, no, I did not.
Tell me what happened.
Okay, James was mowing the lawn. He'd previously been told to stay away, make no contact. Ricky had, in fact, told him not to mow the lawn that day.
I asked you what happened.
Yep.
Not what was previously 9th of September.
Okay, Your Honor.
He's mowing the lawn.
He's
you
mowing
see
the
him
lawn.
mowing the lawn.
I get home from work and I see James mowing the lawn, and I went inside my abode. I came back out when I heard him come back around the yard, where I saw him going around counterclockwise and discharging rocks and all the debris at my vehicles, which I have a photo of.
Go ahead.
And I walked up to James. I said, James, could you please turn the lawnmower around so that you're not discharging at my vehicle? At which point, James started yelling at me and calling me names. and then threatening me.
And what did you do?
I kind of sat there dumbfounded, wondering what to do.
Well, you didn't sit there, you were
Oh,
standing.
I was standing, sorry.
Uh-huh.
At which point James revved up the lawnmower and continued on. I reached out and I literally just touched him on the shoulder. At which point he jumps off the lawnmower. I work in noisy environments. I have my entire career. That's how you get the attention of people who are distracted by noise. He said, "You just assaulted me," jumped off the lawnmower and ran away saying, "I'm calling the police, you just assaulted me."
Got it. Got it. You have any medical records?
No, I don't, Your
Good,
Honor.
very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $150. Your counterclaim for assault is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I have a claim for $1,000 for harassment from James.
Did you understand what I just said?
Why is that excused? In my life, a couple of times, how it's morphed from me doing a good favor for a friend. He's crazy into it turning into this massive story. I hope that James just leaves me alone. That's all I've ever really wanted.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Worley versus Johnston, step forward.
Jason Worley is suing his former employer, William Johnston, for unpaid wages and storage fees.
Mr. Worley, I'd like you to tell me how you met Mr. Johnston.
I met Mr. Johnston
Don't look,
because...
Listen to me. Don't look down there.
Sorry, ma'am.
Look over here.
Okay.
I'm going to start all over again.
Okay.
Mr. Worley, I want you to tell me how you met Mr. Johnson.
I called him back sometime in March of this year to get a screen printing machine moved.
That's what he says. A screen printing machine, which was a big machine.
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you want it moved from and to?
From my home to my storage unit.
And you called him why?
Because I had heard he was the cheapest in town.
So when you called him, did you discuss the price?
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. Sorry.
And what was the price to move?
$75.
And you agreed to that?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you came to take this printing unit to storage, did you pay him?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
$75.
Pay you?
He paid me some.
How much did he pay?
He paid me $35.
In all honesty, the cash was $35, and then he requested a bag of marijuana as the rest of the payment. So...
Just a second. Mr. Worley, you see, I have a nose for what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Because what happened is Mr. Johnston came, you had agreed on a price, he moved the unit,
yes,
then asked you for payment. It's kind of ridiculous for me to believe that Mr. Johnston said, you know what, I'll just take $35 in cash, and on the outside chance that maybe you can hook me up with some marijuana, if you can, I'll take the rest off. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, yes.
All right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You never had a contract with him for money, for an hourly wage for working on the car. So you're not getting any money, zippo, nada, no money. You can say whatever you want to the back of my hand.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jason Worley says his former boss, William Johnston, owes for wages.
So when he came and he moved it, you didn't pay him all the money. You only had $35 of the $75. Now, you want to tell me why?
We had discussed the marijuana thing. It was at his request, not mine.
Now, how would that come up? How would that come up?
I'm going to tell you. He walked into
I want you to tell me.
He walked into my house. He wanted something to drink. I believe I got him a cup of coffee. We then started to BS back and forth. My house smelled like pot because I was growing it. He said, you know, I'd be willing to work a trade. I probably have a text somewhere in my phone that would verify that he had gotten it from me before.
Is that what happened?
No.
You want to tell me what happened?
I did smell the marijuana, and he didn't pay me until I finished the job. And then he said to me that if I would be willing to trade for the rest of it, that he had some marijuana that he would be willing to get rid of.
And you said okay?
I refused.
You refused?
Yes.
So far, Slick, you're not doing well. All you had to do was play it straight. Move my printing machine, and here's $75, as I agreed.
I had enough cash.
Now, the next thing is, now you have a buddy. So after he moved this printing machine, because, Mr. Johnson, I'm not so sure that what you said to me is true, because now he was Slick. He owes you $40. Because Mr. Worley said that he bartered a car, bought/bartered, And this is what he says. He says he told you, because you own this parking lot or garage or whatever where you can sometimes get cars, that he was looking for a particular kind of car, and you just happened to come up with that particular kind of car, a 2004 Audi?
2000 Audi, ma'am.
2000 Audi. So after this thing where he stiffed you, you were prepared to let him work on a car for you in exchange for this 2000 Audi. See, Mr. Johnson, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
But that's what you say in your answer. Doesn't make sense to me that a grown-up man who's gotten stiffed in his business from this kid because he paid you $35, and now you're talking about bigger money. Now you get into a conversation with him. He fixes cars. He knows about cars. You know what? The whole thing smells to me. So now he's got this Audi that you want, but he's got another car, and he says to you, you know, if you work on this car and get it into tip-top shape, I'll give you the Audi. That's what you say happened.
Yes.
And you worked on the car.
Yes.
And got it in shape, and then he would not give you the title to the Audi.
No, ma'am. Instead, he gave me
The title to the Audi.
No, ma'am.
Now you don't want the Audi.
No.
You want the money for working on his other car.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is dismissed. We're done. That wasn't your contract.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you get the Audi. If I'm satisfied that you actually did the work, that's fine. But you never had a contract with him for money, for an hourly wage for working on the car. So you're not getting any money, zippo, nada.
May I say
no
something?
money. You can say whatever you want to the back of my hand, but you are not getting any money. If you want the car, I'll direct him to sign a title over to the car if he has it, if I'm satisfied that you got the other car that you were supposed to work on up to speed.
He still hasn't put the Audi into his name, nor is he allowed to sell cars. When I first met him and I started to work for him...
I don't care.
Oh.
Do you understand? I don't care. Your contract was not work for hire.
That was my
Your
contract.
no.
I had worked for him before this incident.
Oh, please, I don't believe either one of you. We're done here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Having me do work and then not paying for it and giving me a forged receipt instead.
He didn't finish repairing the car. He forged himself a document.
I took it to the DMV. It's fake.
He says a lot of things that aren't true.
Don't do work with good guys towing.
Close this chapter.
She's going to deny that. Her credibility is not reliable, Your Honor. She told me that she was divorced, which she really wasn't.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Clifton McNeil is suing his ex-fiancée, Rashina Jones, for the return of tools, a basketball hoop, and an engagement ring.
Order. All rise.
Now it's case number 345 on the calendar in the matter of McNeil versus Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. McNeil, what kind of work do you do?
I'm an employee packaging department for Fresenius Kabi, Your Honor, in Grand Island, New York.
How long have you been there?
Since February of this year, Your Honor.
Prior to that, where were you working? What kind of work do you do?
I own a grocery store in a deli, and I work for the VA.
This is what this case is about. The two of you lived together for about 3.5 years. And Mr. McNeil gave you a ring. You were engaged to be married. According to him, he lived with you and your children.
Yes.
Above a store that you work?
Yes.
That's yours? So you have an apartment above the store that you own?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McNeil says he participated working in that store during the course of the 3.5 years, but the relationship went south. He left, and according to Mr. McNeil, he left some property there. He left the engagement ring there. He left a basketball hoop.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay for the basketball hoop?
About $480, roughly
$480.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you purchase it?
May of 2015 from Walmart.
And who used it?
My son and her daughter.
Was your son living with you?
No, but he comes over visiting.
Well, so when he visited, but her daughter used it.
Yes.
So it was bought for her daughter to use and for your son and her daughter to use when your son was there.
Yes, Your Honor, but primary is for my son's use, so if I leave, I would want the rim to leave, so
I don't care. That's ridiculous.
You don't care.
Ridiculous. Okay. So you left the engagement ring, the basketball hoop, and what else?
Miscellaneous tools, which I'm not concerned about because I have no pictures to prove that I left them there.
So that we're here. You see what a fair person I am, Miss Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where's the ring?
I don't have the ring, Your Honor.
That's not what I... Listen to me. Where's the ring? We women understand each other.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, where is it? I sold it. I lost it. I gave it to my daughter. I gave it to my cousin. I threw it out a window. I'm asking you, where is it?
He had the choice to go upstairs and get all his belongings, and he had bought watches and rings. It was all in the drawer. He took everything he had that he wanted to take on his own. I haven't seen it since he left.
So your answer is you haven't seen the ring since he left?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were not wearing it when he left?
Absolutely not.
On what date did he leave?
April, sometime in April.
And when did you stop wearing the ring?
Like months ago. I don't wear jewelry. I never really wore it a long length of time anyhow.
Well, the ring that he bought you, when did he give it to you?
In 2014. I think I only wore it about a month because I move with my hands, so I never wear jewelry on my hands too much.
Is there any reason why you weren't married 2 years later?
Well, job, it takes money to get married, and I'm
Well, he really didn't want more money. He was living in your house anyway.
Right. But, I mean, it took more than just living in my house. We, take two to get married and work out. No hard feelings about that. I worked hard all my life, and,
Mr. McNeil, she says that you took all of your jewelry when you left, including that watch that I assume you took, the watch that you're wearing?
No, ma'am. She talking about the watches I bought her. I never
I'm
took
talking about that watch that you're wearing.
I didn't have this watch when I was with her.
You didn't? You just bought that watch?
This is recently.
You must have had a stroke of good fortune.
Yes, casino, Niagara Casino.
She doesn't have the ring.
Yeah.
Show me proof that she has the ring.
And she said that she ain't wear the ring until 2014?
No. No, that's not what I asked you.
I know, so proof.
Not what I asked you. I see it's on her. I see that's on her finger. Is that taken after you left in April?
No.
He left in April, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that picture taken after April?
No, Your Honor.
She says she doesn't have the ring. You want
Of course, Your Honor. Of course she's going to deny that.
No, that's not what I asked you, sir. She said when you left, you took all your stuff.
I didn't take everything.
Mr. McNeil, all I want to know is, sir, whether you have proof that she had the ring after you left in April.
I can prove, Your Honor, that her credibility is not reliable, Your Honor. She told me that she was divorced, which she really wasn't.
All right, Mr. McNeil, listen to me, sir.
Well, I'm saying she's lying about the ring, Your Honor.
You lived in Miss Jones's apartment. She has the ring that I assume you have proof of. Do you have proof of that?
Your Honor.
Fine. You don't have to show me. You have proof that you paid $1,400 for the ring. You lived in her home.
I worked.
You lived in her home. What was the rent arrangement in her home for you?
Wasn't one, Your Honor.
You never had any rent arrangement?
That was never established.
Did you have a joint bank account?
No, Your Honor.
Well, how did you pay your share of the bills?
This right here, Your Honor. As you see, I worked for her.
I'd like to see it. How many hours a week did you work for her?
40+ hours. It was always 40+, Your Honor.
Is that true?
No, Your Honor.
How many hours a week did he work at the store?
When he was working, it's about 25, he stopped working because it wasn't working out. It wasn't
When
working
did he
out.
stop?
He worked there for about a couple months, and then we just...
Give me a month and year.
I say about August, in the summertime, August.
Of what year?
Of 2015.
And what did he do after August of 2015? Did he get another job?
No, Your Honor.
So what did he do?
He had got a job, then he stopped working. He just sat around.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. He got another job. He said he was working someplace.
He got a job, then he quit or got fired. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. And then he just...
He got a job doing what? Do you remember?
Working in this factory. A factory. I forgot exactly what he did. But he was there a couple months, about 2 months, and then he stopped.
What kind of factory?
Your Honor,
What? Listen to me. What kind of factory? Had a job around
No,
August?
Your Honor. I did. I worked for RTR. That was the whole purpose of the commitment that I dealt with while I was involved with Miss Jones, Your Honor.
Where are you living now?
I'm living at 16 Avenue, Your Honor.
God, how much do you pay in rent?
$350 a month, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
And you're working?
Yes.
When did you get the job?
I got the job just before, 2 months before I left her.
So you had the job 2 months.
couldn't.
Shh. So you got the job 2 months before you left her in April. So you got the job in February. Pay attention.
Not factory job, Your Honor.
I don't care what kind of a job. You got the job in February.
Yes, Your Honor, but I just
Right.
can't. When I get hired,
Don't. You got the job in February. You left in April.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you weren't working 60 hours a week at her grocery then if you had another job.
No. Your Honor.
Don't tell me, Your Honor. I know who I am.
You misunderstand what I'm saying. I did work 40-plus hours. She's sitting here lying in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Mr. McNeil, I'm going to throw you out of here. Now, I'm asking you a very simple question. You told me you got your present job that you're working out now in February. You still lived with Miss Jones in February and March. You didn't leave her house until April. That's in these papers. So for at least 2 months, you were working someplace.
She got compensated. She always got paid half my earnings on any job I had.
I'm throwing out your case because you're not answering my questions. We're done. We're going to be done with your case. Now we're going to go to the counterclaim. Do you understand me? I asked you simple questions. You have a scenario you want to get to. The answer is you worked someplace else other than her grocery store for 2 months while you were living there. So you weren't living there, working your full-time job at her grocery store. Therefore, you didn't pay any rent. There would be no reason for you to pay rent because you were working in the family business. That I understand. But when you leave the family business and go to work someplace else, and are not working in the family business, February and March, how much did you pay her for your upkeep? February and March. How much did you pay her for your upkeep?
$200, Your Honor.
$200 a month?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
Of course not. He made up a number. He could have said $100.
Okay.
He could have said $400.
I know I could have said that, but why I lied?
Because the story has changed.
Okay,
Did he give
story
you
changed.
any money in February and March?
Yes, he did.
How much?
About $500.
Each month?
Yes.
You see, look at that. Look at that. She just said you gave her $500 each month in February and March. You said...
I give her no $500 each month, but if she want to say that, I appreciate it.
Listen, folks, the love affair is over. The romance is over. I will say goodbye to you. Go find happiness elsewhere. She doesn't know where your ring is, and if he gave you $500 a month, which part of your counterclaim was for rent, and you just told me he gave you $500 for February and March, he gave you enough. We're done. Goodbye.
And a damaged car, too.
Goodbye.
Artist, excuse me, step out.
She's lying clearly. Of course she's going to say I took everything.
Every good thing comes to an end.
When I asked her about the ring while I'm leaving, she said, you're not getting nothing back.
If he feel like I'm rotten the way he feel is okay.
Period. That's what type of woman she is. You know, her whole, she's a fraud.
I mean, when you hurt, you say mean things. And
being that she's out here in Hollywood, they might want to put her on the Lifetime channel because she's great at it.
Probably more angry with herself than me because I've never done anything to him.
But I do appreciate that she didn't kill me at the end.
I have nothing bad to say about him. Things end.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Vinny versus McCracken. Step forward.
Tanisha Vinny is suing mechanic Brian McCracken for losing her car.
Miss Finney, how do you know the defendant?
Through a friend, mutual friend.
How long have you known him?
Maybe about a year now.
And you knew he was a mechanic?
Yes.
You were having some trouble with the car that you owned. That was a 2005?
Well, I had damage, body damage.
Had you been in an accident?
Yes.
When did you purchase the car?
August 4th, 2016.
From whom?
He's a friend, mutual friend.
Name?
Nathan.
Nathan what?
I don't know his last name.
Well, you had the title to the car, so you must have known the last name of the person.
Yes, I have it. It's on here. I have it.
What's his last name? We'll take a look at the retail price of the 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Nathan.
And how much did you pay, Mr. for the car in August?
$5,000.
Retail price?
$35.25.
You overpaid. Is that good condition, bad condition? What does it say?
Private party good.
Private party good. $35.25. You have proof that you paid him $5,000?
Yes.
I would just like to see proof why you paid him $1,500 more than the car is worth.
It came with extra things. It came with sounds and rims.
Nah.
Okay.
Doesn't do it for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I took the car down to my shop. I locked it up, put the keys away, and the car went missing. I mean, I think she had something to do with the car missing. I'm not sure. But for the car to be taken out of my shop was just odd to me.
Mr. McCracken?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a drug problem, sir?
And later today,
You would, this occasion, you had an accident with the car.
Right.
Right. So don't tell me that the car was bad because you had used the car often before.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tanisha Vinny says mechanic Brian McCracken mysteriously lost her car. She is suing for its value.
Now, proof that you paid him $5,000.
I don't have proof besides that it was
Good.
switched over by a notary.
Did you pay him in check or cash?
Cash.
Good. Where did you get the money from?
I got a check from a car that I had wrecked from my insurance company, so I used that.
Well, what did you do, endorse the check over to him?
No, I cashed it through my bank and gave him the cash.
So at some point in August, at the beginning of August.
No, I'm sorry, I said August. It was April 4th. I'm sorry, not August. It was April 4th that I purchased the car from him.
This all just happened, so it's part of the bank transaction. So you would have a transaction on April 4th, 2016 for a check that you were cashing that was going to be held against your account if you got your bank account, and you're telling me that that would be for $5,000?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
I don't have that.
Or?
I paid him $5,000 cash.
Then you overpaid by $1,500. Now, when were you in the accident with the car?
July 17, 2016.
You dropped it off at his house?
Yes.
To fix the damage?
Yes.
On what date?
July 27, 2016.
What happened to her car?
I took the car down to my shop. I locked it up, put the keys away, and the car went missing. I don't know what happened to the car. It's just odd the car went missing, and she just keeps harassing me about it and harassing me about it.
Just a second.
So, I mean, I think she had something to do with the car missing. I'm not sure. But for the car to be taken out of my shop was just odd to me. So, I just know it was stolen. That's all I can tell you,
You
Your
have
Honor.
a police report?
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please? Mr. McCracken?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a drug problem, sir?
Used to, yes.
What?
Used to, yes.
Well, did you have a drug problem in July?
No, I was getting help then.
I have the landlord.
Just a second.
I'd like to speak as a witness.
Just a...
I used to work...
Listen to me. I didn't say yes.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
the roads were wet and the car spun out of control.
As a result of that accident, was the car undrivable?
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me why you think you're not responsible to replace the car.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tanisha Vinny says mechanic Brian McCracken mysteriously lost her car. She is suing for its value.
Well, the incident report that the police took as a result of speaking to you say that your car was stolen and the value of it was $3,000.
Well, I looked up the Kelly Blue Book value.
Just a second.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Listen! You had custody and control over this car, and it was your responsibility to keep it safe, in a safe condition. She gave you money towards fixing it. How much she gave you, according to this, because they spoke to you.
We got the parts.
What difference does it make if she has the parts, Mr. McCracken? If she doesn't have the car, what is
Well,
she
we
supposed
paid
to do?
for them, didn't we? So, I mean, at least they were paid for. I didn't take the money and go blow it on anything.
Oh, I think you probably did, along with the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the help you got in July helped you. Or if it did, maybe it came a little too late for her car. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,540. That's all. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
I mean, the car was stolen. I didn't steal the car, so there's nothing else I could say.
I didn't think he would ever do it. He's done work on other cars of mine, and it was never an issue.
I think she had something to do with it, to tell you the truth.
So for this,
on a $5,000 for a car that's only worth $3,500.
It's crazy.
I mean, you can't fight Judge Judy, so.
I'll never do business with him ever again, so.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sly versus Randolph. Step forward.
Nija Sly is suing her former friend, Linda Randolph, for borrowing her car and totaling it.
Miss Sly, according to you, you've known the defendant for 20 years. She's
Yes.
sort of close to you. She borrowed your car and totaled it. You want her to replace the car. What kind of car did you have?
A Honda Accord, 96.
When did you purchase it?
I purchased it at the beginning of the year, around February.
From whom?
From her daughter's boyfriend.
What did you pay for the car?
I paid $1,000.
Did you have an accident with the car?
Yes.
And as a result of that accident, was the car left undrivable?
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me why you think you're not responsible to replace the car that you were driving, you had an accident with. Certainly she did not have collision insurance with the car because the car is 20 years old. She paid a relatively small amount. Would you check on that car for me, would you please, Bert? Why you don't think it's your responsibility?
Okay, so on said day that I borrowed Miss Sly's car, I used it and went down the road. I did have it was like a car accident. Not like I hit anybody, it wasn't super wet, and the car spun out of control.
So?
When the police arrived in the ambulance and all so forth, they explained to me that the car...
No, you can't tell me what anybody said to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you had used the car before on numerous
several occasions, right.
On numerous occasions. She let you borrow the car on numerous occasions, and you returned the car on numerous occasions. Right. On this occasion, you had an accident with the car. So don't tell me that the car was bad, because you had used the car often before.
Okay.
You had used the car often before.
Okay.
Without any incident.
Without any incident.
Correct. So.
Okay. So at the accident scene.
How much does it cost?
$2,600.
And you paid $1,000 for it?
Yes, it was a used car from some guy he knew. It was just sitting there, so he wanted to get rid of the car. So
fine. It's a bargain. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The truck really should have been yours.
She's telling everybody that we were divorced.
You may not want to treat it as a marriage, but your mother treated it as a marriage.
Next Judge Judy.
Next on WBZ Channel 4.
She called me and told me that she got into a car accident.
The car spun out of control.
I asked her what happened. She said that she swerved.
She was upset.
And did a 360 and rolled 3 times.
Her car was totaled.
She was gonna get a car.
Take the responsibility, but she didn't want the car I wanted to give her.
That wasn't to the condition my car was in.
I was purchasing her car. She didn't want it.
My car was in good condition.
She wanted a better car.
And she was just gonna get any piece of junk.
She wanted a $2,600 car. I didn't have it.
I kept calling her saying, "Where's my car?"
Was this limo driver covering up a crash?
Give me the date that the accident happened.
It wasn't an accident.
Well, you hit something.
In fact, I don't even think I even hit anything, and he's saying that I did.
But she can't stall the judge forever.
Where did it take place?
He said...
Where? Listen to me. You know, I don't believe a word that you're saying to me.
Well, anyway.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. Limo company owner Francis Tuzolino Jr. is suing his former employee, Michelle Kirshner, for limo damages and stolen limo fares.
Order. All rise. It's case number 337 on the calendar, the matter of Tuzolino versus Kirshner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Mr. Tuzolino, how many limousines do you have?
I have 2 limousines.
Is that your business?
My main business is automotive repair, and I also have limousines as well.
The defendant was a driver for you for a period of time. I assume an independent contractor. Is that right?
That's correct. And a friend.
How long had she been an independent contractor driving your limousine?
Well, several years ago. I was going to say maybe over 5 years ago, she started working for me, and then she left for a period of time, and then she returned back.
When?
2015, she showed up asking me if she can drive again. And in 2016, she said that she was serious about driving, that her life's in order, and she wants to drive again to make some money.
Okay. So she started to drive for you again in 2016?
Yes.
Okay. You allege several things. That she damaged one of your cars, and then you say that she owes you for some work that you did on her private vehicle.
Yes. Weekend of May 13th to May 15th, that she did the 2 jobs. Friday, was the first run, and then Sunday was the secondary run. Somewhere in that time, or shortly after that, because I did not receive my limousine back after the service that she did. So the accident happened somewhere between Friday and the time that I saw it, that next Tuesday, which would be the 17th.
Okay. Don't you have insurance to cover that, sir?
I do, but this responsibility, I put it on her, telling her that I believe her attitude was the reason for that, or her negligence with the attitude, based on what I was going through. From Friday, when she took the limousine and picked up a very close friend of mine, daughter, and party for a prom, he had contacted me and told me that...
You can't tell me what he contacted you and told you. That's hearsay.
Okay, well, he was concerned about...
Don't tell me what he was concerned with. That's just a different way of telling me what he said. Let me make this easy for you. This is your car, your limousine. I assume you have insurance to fix it, and you're in the automobile business. So if she was driving the car and she was within her scope of employment, which I assume it was, because you can't pinpoint when this damage occurred, then you have to fix it. I mean, if every driver of a car had an accident with the car, unless they were leasing the car from you for the day, and that's a whole different arrangement. But that was not your arrangement with her. She was actually working.
Rules that are understood.
Don't tell me what was understood. That calls for the operation of somebody's mind.
Oh.
It's your fleet of limousines. If there's damage to your fleet of limousines, you have insurance. I assume your insurance covers it. And if it didn't cover it, you have an auto repair shop. So I don't know what that's doing here. Now, you want to tell me about the work that you did for her on her private car.
May I interject on the limousine again?
Sure.
Because on the limousine, I'm an automotive repair shop. That means mechanical repairs, not a body shop. The body shop goes to another place. And she also had told me that she's responsible, she'll take care of it, she feels bad. As a matter of fact, when she came in to confess to it to me, and she even confessed to my witness here, on her own, it was her own doing, saying, I will take care of it, I just don't have the money right now. And I have text messages supporting this as well, saying, I'm responsible, just give me time, I don't have the money right now, let me work.
I'm telling you, she's not responsible. I mean, unless she was using the car for her own purposes.
That's what she did do after she worked. That's my problem.
Is that when she had the accident?
That's the unfortunate part. I don't know, because she didn't contact me back after she hung up the phone in her rage of...
When was the accident? Look at me. Date of the accident.
It was May 22nd.
5/22.
Yeah.
Where did it take place?
He said...
Where? Just tell me the truth, and then we won't have a problem. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. It happened on May 21st. Where?
2016.
You're trying to make up
Angeles.
you're trying to make up a story.
Los Angeles.
Give me the date that the accident happened.
The 21st, May 21st, 2016.
Where?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles?
Yes.
What were you doing?
Driving for Francis.
I'm not believing you. I want to tell you, I'm not believing you. Tell me the client that was in the car when you were driving for him that you had the accident in.
Oh.
Oh.
It wasn't an accident, actually.
Well, what was it?
Because when I got lost. I got lost trying to find this party at this restaurant in Los Angeles, because it's not really easy to try to turn a car around.
You know, I don't believe a word that you're saying to me.
Okay, well...
I actually don't believe a word that you're saying to me. Just a look.
Well, anyway...
Just a look. So you couldn't find
had
the
to turn
party.
the car
Just a
around.
second. You couldn't find the party, but you finally found the party.
Yes, thank God.
But after you had had an accident with the car. That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
That's so
it's
easy.
actually no, because it wasn't an accident.
Well, you hit something.
I didn't hit anybody, no cars or anything. When I pulled into the driveway, there was a marker, and it's kind of hard to pull in the limousine when there's like only this much room to pull in your car. And in fact, I don't even think I even hit anything, and he's saying that there was no marks on the car. Then the next day, when I went to go unload the car and clean it up for him, he asked me if I had made...
Ms. Kirshner, I was not actually inclined to view the plaintiff's claim favorably, but I find you so untrustworthy in your answers to me, because he's going to be able to tell me, and he has a witness who's going to tell me that you knew that there was damage to the car, that you apologized for the damage to the car, and if this was the 21st, on what date did you return the car to him?
The 21st. The party was on the 21st. It was a Saturday.
When did you pick up the car?
On a Saturday.
And when did you finally return the limousine to him?
Saturday night.
And when did you pick it up again?
The next day, on a Sunday.
Is that right?
Your Honor, no, it's incorrect. She kept the car for the convenience of her own so that she wouldn't have to go back and forth because she was always looking for a ride. And she asked, can I keep the car? We've done that before in the past. And I said, yes, you can. Just make sure you fill it up, you're on time, and check in with me. We have a protocol that we have to follow.
Just a minute. So she kept the car on the 21st?
Well, no, that's the date is wrong also.
When had she originally taken the car?
On the 13th.
On the 13th?
On the 13th, May 13th.
Oh, okay. And she didn't return it until the 21st?
I'm saying she returned it 17th or 18th. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday following because I kept calling her saying, where's my car? The rules.
Did you keep his car on the... Answer my question. Did you keep it 13th?
We're under oath.
No, I am under oath, and no.
13th?
No.
Okay. And this little fender thing that we were talking about, because you started to say you were pulling into this and then all of a sudden nothing happened.
No. Okay, go ahead.
See, who is this?
This is my witness that looked at the car.
She's not doing well. You understand that?
Not.
Do you understand that? That
Yes,
she's not
yes,
doing
ma'am,
well?
I do.
Do you know what that says to me when somebody's not doing well?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I would say that you should sit right where you are.
That's what I'm doing.
Right. I'd like to see a picture of the car.
Yes. And I painted the scratches because it had to go out the following week.
Just a second.
Just with a spray can, just so it can go out on the next run.
That's a
I see
lie.
where it's dented. Did you have this repaired at an auto body place?
I did not have it repaired yet.
This was in May. We're now 8 months later. Did you report it to your insurance company? Not aha.
I did not report to the insurance company, but I didn't get the repair done until later. At the time of the accident, I waited because I had to go out on another run, and I tried to settle with her.
I want to see the paid bill from the auto body place.
It's right there. He owes me for the
You paid
fare.
allegedly $2,000 in cash to have this fixed. If you put it through your insurance, you probably have a $1,000 deductible. So I'm charging her $1,000 because I don't believe that she had an accident any other time than when she was using this limousine within her scope of employment. Go ahead.
She owes me for money for the fares, the 2 fares that she
Forget
did.
fares. I'm not interested in fares.
No, the fares are my money that she was supposed to collect.
Forget it for the fares. This is May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We're 8 months later. Forget fares. $1,000 for fixing the car. Let's move on, sir. Do you want to tell me about the car that you allegedly fixed for her?
I fixed her car a couple of times, Your Honor, but I think in...
Dates.
First one here, actually, was 2 dates. They were in May and June, and then I had another repair back in August for her car. She had bought her own...
Just of this year?
That's correct.
So what you're telling me is after this alleged incident with the car in May, with the damage to the car that she did not pay for, she continued to work for you, and you continued to do repair work on her car. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor. We had an agreement that she was going to pay me out of her inheritance when she would settle because, unfortunately, her parents had passed. So she was waiting for money. She would always say, I don't have money, but I'm willing to work and pay half of what I earn towards the monies that I owe you. And going back to the mother's meetings, these were my monies that she had to collect and bring to me for those jobs.
Let me tell you something. I find your whole story disingenuous, sir. I mean, I know that you present relatively well and that you're relatively articulate, but the dates don't jive with me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What you had to do was say, I'm going to refinance the truck. You chose not to do that.
That's incorrect, ma'am.
Did she tell you to refinance the truck?
Listen, this is what happened.
No, don't tell me listen.
And later today,
In July, the car got burned in your lot.
Yes, ma'am.
At that time, you hadn't paid the defendant anything.
That is correct.
So you want him to pay you $5,000.
That is correct.
That's not going to happen.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Limo company owner Francis Tuzolino Jr. says former employee Michelle Kirshner damaged his limo and stole fares belonging to him.
Now, if somebody, an employee of mine, took my car without permission and kept it for 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th and brought it back, and when they brought it back, there was damage on the car, damage that you wanted her to pay for, and she didn't pay you for fares. Well, I would, and letting her not pay for it?
Your Honor, there was a friendship that was precedent prior to this time and me helping her. My protocol for the business is I can't collect all the monies at the time that people book a limousine. They're entitled to pay at the time of the service. So it's the driver's responsibility to bring me my money after the job is done. When I contacted her on Sunday, after she hung up on me Sunday because she was in a fit of rage,
In
got
May.
lost. This is in May.
In May.
When-
In
when-
May, I'm talking to you about June and August fixing her car.
But I'm saying on that money that she was supposed to bring to me, I couldn't have any. She gave me no contact until the car was dropped off until that Tuesday or Wednesday.
I want to say, I think that
I have the
two of you
text
deserve
messages
each
to
other.
prove it.
I'm done. We're finished. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm lost. I'm not understanding why I'm not entitled to monies that were earned by my company.
He owes me that money.
She admitted, and I didn't get a chance to show the text, saying that she gambled it.
That's what he's saying. Whatever floats his boat.
And she was going to pay me back, and she said I would have spent more if I had it.
See, he's so full of bull. Whatever. That's all I can say.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dorsey versus Beverly. Step forward.
Lynn Dorsey is suing his ex-girlfriend, Amy Beverly, for unpaid car payments and the cost of vehicle upgrades, 2 cell phones, and the invasion of privacy.
Mr. Dorsey, you and Miss Beverly lived together for a period of time. While you were living together, you needed a truck.
I just need some transportation, period. I
You
just
need-
chose a truck, though, yes.
That's fine. But I assume that the reason that you put the truck in Miss Beverly's name is because she had better credit than you did. Is that
Not
correct?
necessarily.
Well, Mr. Dorsey, let me explain something to you. This is going to be a very, very easy case.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought a truck, you put down the down payment, and you made the payments. The truck was in the defendant's name.
Correct.
Which means it's her truck. It belongs to her. Now, what you're asking for is the down payment that you put down on the truck and the monthly payments that you put down on the truck. Well, you can't get that until you refinance the truck in your name.
I
Do you
bought 2
understand?
cars already.
Do you understand? Well, then that's too bad. Then
If it was her truck, it's her truck, but
listen to me, sir.
just spend my
Very,
money.
very easy. She's not paying you a dime. Because really? Because if she were to give you the truck, she would still be on the loan. The title would still be in her name. You could do whatever you wanted with that truck. If you got into an accident and didn't pay insurance, it would be her responsibility. So what you had to do was say, listen, I'm going to refinance the truck. It was my truck. We understood that. I made the payments on it. You chose not to do that.
That's incorrect, ma'am.
Did she tell you to refinance the truck?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
If you look at the pictures, you see where he was burning his rubbish, where my car was in location to his rubbish.
Did you tell her to get the car off to your lot? That's what you say in your answer. Is that true?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lynn Dorsey is suing his ex-girlfriend, Amy Beverly, for unpaid car payments and the cost of vehicle upgrades. Amy is countersuing for a bed, 2 cell phones, and the invasion of privacy.
You don't tell me to listen. I'm asking you whether she
Judge
asked
Judy,
you. Listen
no,
to,
she didn't.
Did you ask him to refinance
I
the
asked
truck?
her. I told her I wanted to refinance the truck, and she wouldn't let me do it.
Is that right?
And I didn't even
What
ask her to
happened
put the truck in her name.
What happened was he was supposed to sign a piece of paper stating that he would keep up the payments on the truck and he would be allowed to take the truck. But without him signing notarized paper, I wasn't going to let him leave with a $50,000 truck in my name, because you're right.
Just
He
a
could have
second.
done anything.
And I
I'm asking.
I don't even want to say it. Just whatever, though.
You have the truck?
I do.
Who's making payments on it?
Me.
Since when?
Since this month was my first payment.
When did you purchase the truck?
I purchased it in...
It's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So it lost value as soon as you took it out of the shop.
Correct.
So what kind of truck is it?
It's a Chevy Silverado.
And when did he leave?
He left November.
I was put out in November.
You left.
Whatever. I don't
You
care.
called the police.
You left.
You called
You
somebody
left.
with a badge.
We're
in his
done.
hand
The
to
case is
separate.
dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Leave the business.
Oh, excuse
Hello?
me, my countersuit.
The same. You were arguing with him. Not here. Go someplace else.
I have no idea why you're so angry with me. He has a bunch of false information and he can't prove anything to anybody, so I guess that would make you mad. Because he made up some things in his own head. He thought I was cheating on him and I wasn't. It was just an excuse to go back to his old girlfriend. How about that?
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Marshall versus Statham. Step forward.
Camille Marshall is suing her former friend, Sean Statham, for the cost of her car after catching fire on his property.
Miss Marshall, You had a car, and you had a car accident. And that was in May.
May 3rd.
You had the car towed to the defendant's lot.
Correct.
Where you left it because you had no money to fix it.
Correct.
In July, so 2 months later, the car got... You hadn't paid the defendant anything.
That is correct.
So you want him to pay you $5,000.
That is correct.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Okay, well, listen, I'm sorry. Initially, when the accident occurred, I explained to him I only had liability insurance. With only having liability, that means I would have to pay for the repairs. I no longer work. I'm disabled. I get a check once a month. So I told him it would take me some time to get the money together.
You're not getting $5,000. It's not happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want you to cross it out. It's not happening.
Okay, I don't understand why it won't happen. It burnt on his property due to his...
You should have taken the car off in 2 months.
Okay, but we had an understanding that I had to get the money together to repair.
Show me a contract. First of all, I don't believe either one of you. Show me a contract that you had with him.
I did not have a contract for the repairs.
Correct.
But I don't understand why you don't believe me.
A, because I don't know how it got burned. B, I don't think that it's reasonable for you to leave your car on somebody's lot for 2.5 months without paying him any money while you're getting your money together. I don't think that that's reasonable behavior, so you're not getting any money.
Okay, well, if you look at the pictures, at the evidence that I have, you see where he was burning his rubbish, where my car was in location to his rubbish container.
Did you tell her to get the car off to your lot? That's what you say in your answer. You told her that she should come and get her car. That's what you wrote in your answer. Is that true?
Right.
Good. Case is dismissed. We're done.
Are you serious?
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We figured out a way to just meet in the middle and...
I took my car there to be repaired.
Come together and put a plan together, you know.
It was burnt.
At the end of the day, I don't want no hard feelings with no one, so...
I have no idea.
Regardless of whatever we need to do to try to get understanding.
Get everything in writing.
But the thing about it, we family friends, so at the end of the day, we'll make it happen.
A chance to make a quick buck.
What was it that you wagered on?
Basketball game.
It was just the two of you who were betting.
That's it. He was giving me all these excuses about why he wasn't paying me and stuff like that.
It wasn't so friendly.
He said, I can't wait. We're going to handle it right now. So he started punch me.
You were arrested, Mr. Copeland. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Richard Caldwell is suing his former co-worker, Danny Copeland, for an assault and missing property.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 368 on the calendar in the matter of Caldwell versus Copeland.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Copeland, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
About 2 years ago,
Yes.
you and Mr. Caldwell, who worked in the same place and who were co-workers, got into an altercation. The altercation happened on the 20th of May, a little more than 2 years ago. It sounds as if there had been a bet between the two of you.
Yes.
You wagered on something. What was it that you wagered on?
Bet over a basketball game.
Had you wagered on basketball games before with the plaintiff?
Yeah, it's been one other previous time. And both times, the first time he paid me, the second time he didn't pay me. A friendly bet.
First time he paid, second time, which was around May 2014, he didn't pay you. How much did he owe you?
$100.
And when had this wager been made? In what month?
March.
Had you asked him for the money between March and May?
Yeah, we've been texting, coercing back and forth, talking about it. He was giving me all these excuses about why he wasn't paying me and stuff like that. So what I did was, when I seen him in May, I asked him, and that's when the altercation started.
That took place after work?
Yeah, this is like, we had been off the job for like more than 2 years.
So you hadn't worked together?
No, we hadn't worked together in a while. It was just...
Okay. This happened in a parking lot?
Yes.
Of whose workplace?
Neither one of our workplaces.
So it was just a parking lot?
Where actually there's AutoZone, and then there's a food bazaar there, right? That's a supermarket, and they have food there. And there's a couple of guys over there that do a little side work. And that's what we was over there, you know, just hanging out with those guys. Because one of the guys over there actually worked with us as well.
But had you made an appointment to meet Mr. Caldwell, or
No.
it was just...
No, he just showed up.
And at that time, you went over to him to ask him about his money?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to stop you from there. So now I have the basics of what it was about.
Gotcha.
So, Mr. Caldwell, you're in the parking lot. Mr. Copeland comes in, and...
It started like this, right? I drove up to the parking lot. I was walking, and his car was about 10 feet away from me. So I walked over to his car. He called me first, right? I said, hold up, 1 minute, right? And then I went to the other car. Then I got in the car, right?
So you got in the other car?
Yeah, right? As I finished with the person I was in the car with, I got out, right? And I was walking back to my car. And that's when he called me. And I said, okay, what you want? He said, I need my money. You owe me this and that. I'm getting my car fixed, worked on. I said, I ain't got it right now because I just got hurt on my job, right? So I don't have it right now. I'm on compensation. And compensation don't pay nothing, you know, and I got other bills besides you. So you're not like priority right now. I got other bills. I do owe you $100. I know I do. But right now I just got hurt, so I'm on compensation. And compensation don't pay nothing, so I got other bills. And then when I get it, then I give it to you.
So you told him that you didn't have any money.
Yeah, I didn't have it, right?
Okay, and what did he do?
He said, well, I can't wait. So he said, we're gonna handle it right now. So he put his hands up to start fighting me, right? And then I had my hands to block this punch right now. I started walking backwards. And then when I was walking backwards, right, I fell. Because my leg gave out on me, because I was hurt. So my leg gave out on me. And so I fell on the ground. As soon as I fell on the ground, right, that's when he started punching me. And I could do nothing about it because I was hurt already. When he was going to punch me, right, he took my chain, ripped my chain off. I grabbed a piece of it, right? This is the piece right here. I had to make it into a bracelet now because the chain is gone and I only got a piece of it.
Okay, so after he was punching you, did he at some point leave?
No. He kept hitting me. Then he got up, right, and he kicked me in my side, right? And then the reason why he left, right, somebody said, call the cops. Some girl says, call the cops. So that's why he left. And then I got up right away. I was bleeding from the face and everything because he had rings on, so he cut my face and everything. So I had rings on my face, coming off my face and everything. Then I got in my car. So when he left, I got in my car and I followed him. At the same time, I was calling the cops on him. And then when I called the cops, right, finally they caught up on him on Franklin Avenue.
So the police stopped his car?
No. He got out. He parked his car, and he got out, right? And then he was walking when he first stopped. And I said, he's over here, Franklin Avenue. Then the cops came, right around, and they pulled him and stopped him.
May I see the police report? Do you have the police report, sir? You were arrested, Mr. Copeland. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
And you were charged with assault?
Yes.
That's what this case is about. Mr. Caldwell is suing you for the assault, and you have a cross-complaint, and your cross-complaint was for filing a false report with the police. And you are suing you for $5,000.
Yes.
That's what the case is about. Okay. Did you receive the cross back? Police found the cross.
Yeah, they gave me the cross back.
Okay, Mr. Copeland, let's hear your version of the events.
Okay. Your Honor, I was in the parking lot, talking to a couple of friends. I was actually on the phone at the time he rolled in. I got off the phone. Like he said, he got into the car. He got out the car. I called him, and we talked. And I asked him, I said, when do you think you'll be able to pay me? Like he said, I was trying to get my car fixed. He said, I don't have the money right now. He started getting all loud, and he swung at me.
Show me how he swung at you.
He swung his arm at me, and I ducked, and I hit him 2 times in defense, right? He backs up. I hit him. Right? And then he grabbed me. And then we started wrestling to the ground. And through some course of that, maybe his chain broke or whatever, I realized, you know what I'm saying, I didn't need to be there. So I got in my car.
What happened to the cross?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to his cross. I got in the car. I left. He was following me, right? And then I ended up going down by my daughter's mother's house. I parked the car there, walked around the corner. He's coming around the corner trying to, I don't know, do his police maneuvers around me. I stopped because the police pulled up. And when the police pulled up, they apprehended me, and then they put me in the car because he was cut under his eye or whatever. I never wear no rings. He talking about me wearing rings. I didn't wear no rings.
Let's move on.
Okay.
You were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You were assigned an attorney, or you retained an attorney?
No, I was assigned attorney, a public defender.
You were assigned a public defender,
Yes.
and the case proceeded through the court system.
Mm-hmm.
The case is no longer pending.
No.
The case was resolved.
Right.
I want you to tell me how the case was resolved.
Okay, for 2 years.
Don't give me a whole song and dance. Did you plead no contest or guilty to a lesser charge?
Yes.
Then your counterclaim is done. Because the burden of proof in a criminal case is proof by beyond a reasonable doubt. Burden of proof in a civil proceeding such as here is a much lower burden. When the judge took your plea, the judge asked you if you understood that you had the right to have a trial where the people would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the crime of, what did you plead guilty to?
Disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct. I'll take what the plaintiff has, please. And the disorderly conduct that you pled guilty to was relevant to this act of May 20th, 2014, not to another act, but to this act. Right. So your counterclaim's dismissed. And you received a mandatory surcharge of $95, victim fee of $25. Did you pay that?
Yes.
And as a result of that, you were originally charged with assault with intent to cause physical injury, and it was reduced to creating a dangerous something and petty larceny. And I assume the petty larceny was the result of the chain. But the guilty plea was to one count of disorderly conduct in full satisfaction of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charges. Right? Okay.
Your Honor, if I may.
You can't anything you like, but this is what you pled guilty to. You pled guilty.
Yeah, but I was in the court system for 2 years,
care.
pleading my case, right, going back and forth every month. I couldn't even take a job because jobs wanted to bond me. I couldn't even get bonded for jobs.
You shouldn't,
right?
shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
I
You
shouldn't
shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was just confronting him about the
You
situation.
confronted him in the parking lot about
So it
a
was good for
gambling
him
debt.
to swing on me and start the fight?
I don't believe that he swung on you at all, sir. Listen, it doesn't make any difference what I believe. You pled guilty.
And later today,
It did rain during certain...
4 out of the 7 days.
But then you said you were admitted to the hospital.
Yes.
Wouldn't make any difference if it was raining or shining.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Caldwell says Danny Copeland assaulted him over a bet. Danny is countersuing, claiming Richard filed false charges with police.
Now, you shouldn't have bothered him in the parking lot.
I was just confronting him about the
You
situation.
confronted him in the parking lot about
So it
a
was good for
gambling
him
debt.
to swing on me and start the fight?
I don't believe that he swung on you at all, sir. I believe that you were frustrated with his text messages.
Frustrated
I don't
with
believe.
his text-
Listen.
We got the
doesn't
same
make any
text
difference
messages. I
what
can show you.
Doesn't make any difference what I
I can
believe,
show you the
sir.
same text messages I have, too.
Listen to me. It doesn't make any difference what I believe. You pled guilty. That was the result of the criminal case.
After 2 years, Your Honor, I need a job. I have to go to work.
Great.
Who's going to pay my bills?
Counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
He didn't hit me, but he swung on me, and I fell in defense. I would have to swing back.
If my leg was good, I would have took care of him then.
I mean, I didn't do anything. I asked him for my money. That was it.
When he played guilty, right, he got like a slap on the wrist.
Because he started.
I can't even walk.
I hit him 2 times. That was it.
No more bets.
And now, the next case.
Step forward.
Wesley Miller is suing contractor Jose Martinez for the return of money he paid him to install a pizza oven.
Mr. Miller, you contracted with the defendant to build a pizza oven, an outdoor pizza oven, and do some other work at your house. You gave him a deposit, but very specifically in your contract, something which Mr. Martinez actually acknowledges, one of the conditions of the job is that it be done within a week. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And what was that week that it was supposed to be done?
The week of the last week in August, starting on the 29th.
So it was supposed to be finished on or about September 6th.
No, ma'am, September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Yes, the Thursday of that week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, that's not a week.
Okay, sorry.
That's not a week. And that's what you said in your complaint. You said, I expressed the urgency to him about completing the project within a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the job was not done within that time.
Correct.
And you want your money back.
Yes, ma'am. I had to hire somebody else to do it and complete it.
Now, Mr. Martinez, I read your answer. Your answer says that it did rain during certain...
4 out of the 7 days.
But then you said you were admitted to the hospital.
Yes.
Just a second. On what date were you admitted to the hospital?
On the 31st, Your Honor.
So what difference does it make if it rained?
Yes, Your Honor.
From the 29th to the 4th or 5th of September. You were admitted to the hospital on August 31st, so it wouldn't make any difference if it was raining or shining or sleeting or snowing. If you're in the hospital, you can't do the job.
Correct. I was on that 1 day.
So this emergency that you have that put you in the hospital for 1 day...
Hypoglycemia.
You came back to work the next day?
It rained 4 out of the...
Did you come back to work the next day?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
No, Your Honor.
Did you come back to work the day after that?
I called him.
Did you come back to work?
No, Your Honor.
You have to give him his money back.
Your Honor, he lied in court and...
He lied in court when?
Yes, Your Honor. And he kept his
Which
money.
court?
Your Honor, he kept his money. And he ended up a week later calling me and that he was going to take me to court. But he lied to you, and he kept his money. There's a stop payment on the check.
Just a minute. So...
He kept his money.
Just a second. So is what you're telling me, Mr. Martinez, that he gave you money by check, but then put a stop payment on the check?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you actually received no money from him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you receive... No.
I did not receive...
Did you receive any money from him? May I see that, please?
And where the actual...
On the 29th of August, sir, you gave him a check for $1,000, check number 1612.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you put a stop payment on that check?
I did on Thursday, and Chase informed me it was too late. It had already been cashed at a local express, and I could not get my money back.
So your account was, in fact...
Debited.
Debited for this amount.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
somebody's got the money, Mr. Martinez.
PLS.
Somebody's got the money, Mr. Martinez.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have from PLS that I owe them $1,000. This is where I cashed another check where I did work, and they took my money.
On what date?
On the 16th of November.
16th of November?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Wesley Miller says contractor Jose Martinez never installed the pizza oven he was paid for.
Your Honor, I don't have that money, Your Honor. PLS, right here, this is PLS form. I went to cash another check, and they told me that I owe them $1,000.
Don't tell me.
I do not have his money.
Well,
Chase Bank has his money, and that stop payment there, right there. Something else from PLS says that they never received the money from Chase Bank. So PLS never received his money from Chase Bank.
I would suggest that you take that up with the bank.
I've checked with the bank before I left, and it's not stop payment. It's not there.
PLS says...
Listen to me. Mr. Martinez is not lying to me about the fact that he may have tried to cash this check, but they wouldn't give him the money. Sit down.
He cashed a check on Monday, and because I waited till Thursday to stop payment, Chase said the money is already gone through, and they could not reverse the payment. It has not been credited back to my account.
Do you have that from Chase?
I have where I've tried to do the stop payment. I don't have any confirmation that $1,000 is back in there.
Well, this was in August.
That's correct.
Do you have your bank statement from August? Or you can get it very easily.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take a look at it. Because if your bank statement shows that this money was, in fact, paid out, then you got the money.
I have from PLS that I owe them $1,000. PLS never got the money from Chase, and here's something from PLS. This is where I cashed another check where I did work, and they took my money.
On what date?
On the 19th, excuse me, on the 16th of November, sorry.
16th of November?
This is where I did a payment, where I worked, I got paid.
You have to return his money, Tim.
Ma'am, I do not have his money. PLS says they never got his money.
I'm trying to get to Chase's down right now.
Chase never gave the money to PLS.
Yes, ma'am, I can try.
Your Honor.
Great.
Chase never gave the money to
Mr. Martinez,
PLS.
I didn't ask you anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to recall us?
Yeah, I do.
This case will be recalled. Step out.
Just get me the statement showing $1,000 out of your account.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Order.
Check 1612. It's highlighted.
Towards the bottom, check 1612, $4,000.
Well, you cashed the check right before you were feeling sick. Did you give him any other money, sir?
I charged some materials. He ended up charging some additional tools to that. I've since taken back what I could. The mortar was no good because it had been out in the rain. On my property, I had to have called people to haul it off.
What is that?
That's the trash that was inside of his truck.
When did he do that?
The Monday he brought the mortar out there and left it on the patio uncovered, and he emptied his truck off over in the corner of my property.
Okay. You have a counterclaim. For what?
PLS I owe money to. I don't owe money to Chase Bank. He may show you just one thing on his phone, but he didn't show you maybe that money's already gone right back to his account. Like I said, I have this from PLS saying that I owe him the $1,000, not Chase Bank the $1,000, ma'am, Your Honor. As for all that junk he's talking about, I cleaned up everything. This is what it looks like before. This is the mess, the construction farce I walked into, and the reason all that stuff is there, because this is what it looks when I left, Your Honor. And then you can...
I'd like to take a look at those photographs, please.
So I worked there in the rain.
Just a second.
Your Honor.
On what days?
On Monday. And he changed
Just a second. So what you're telling me is you worked there one day.
On Monday.
In the rain.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what we're here for? One day?
No, we're here for a completed product in 7 days. It couldn't be completed because of the rain in 4 out of those 7 days.
You owe him $1,000. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think she made the correct decision.
I'm disappointed, but that's fine.
Not in the hospital. He was actually arrested.
I don't want to talk about it.
Make sure you get the documentation. I think the documentation helped me here.
I don't understand about what's going on with the bank, but I never received that money from Chase.
This says cheap ski and zip lines.
Well, they falsely advertise.
Did these rental cabin owners string her along?
When you got there were no zip lines.
They had closed their doors.
Well, they don't own the zip lines, right?
Right.
But her lack of adventure left them hanging.
I don't understand why you left.
There was nothing to do. My children didn't want to stay.
Yeah, well, then you have spoiled children.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Stuart and Barbara Strother are suing Claudia Areola for a cabin rental fee.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 367 on the calendar, the matter of Strother versus Areola.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Strother, you own a cabin.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that cabin is located where?
It's in Wrightwood, California.
How long have you owned it? State in that area?
We do. 6 years ago, we bought a cabin that was just our family's little ski cabin, and we rented it out when we weren't using it. And since then, we've invested, and now we have 5 cabins in Wrightwood.
Just curiosity. How much does one pay for a cabin?
On the low end, when we bought this specific cabin, it was $95,000.
The one that the defendant rented?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you bought that 4 years ago?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've always rented it?
That's right.
And you rented the Struthers cabin for what dates?
It was for August.
What dates in August?
It was August, was it 15th?
Is that right? Is it August 15th?
No, Your
August
Honor.
15th?
What date?
August 6th,
6th.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
I have it here.
Is that 4 nights?
Yes, Your Honor.
4 nights?
4 nights.
And who are you going with?
My 2 older daughters and my 15-year-old twins.
How much was the cabin?
Well, the total was $1,200, but that was with the deposit, so.
Without the deposit?
I think it was $1,042.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor. The cabin was $860, and the security deposit was $200.
And did the defendant send that to you? $860 and the $200 security deposit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you and your 4 children went to the cabin and arrived there on the 6th of August?
Yes.
So now you're fully paid the $860 for the 4 nights?
I have, it was $1,014 plus $200 for a security deposit, which I have here.
I'd like to see that. Oh, well, the 4 nights were $860. That's what it says
And then
here,
the deposits.
$860. Cleaning was $85. You also brought a pet.
Yes.
Is that right? So there was a pet fee of $30. Trip cancellation protection you purchased. Damage protection you purchased. And service fee. Okay. But the cabin itself was $860.
Yes, my total cost.
And you went there with your 4 children and a pet.
Yes.
And you stayed there on the 6th.
We stayed there on the 6th.
Did you stay there on the 7th?
We did.
Did you stay there on the 8th?
No, we left on the 8th early.
You left on the 8th? Okay, so you didn't stay either the 8th or the 9th?
No.
And then you, sometime thereafter, complained to whatever banking institution it was that was handling these transactions, and you were issued a refund.
Yes.
Which they took out of your bank.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which is why we're here today.
That's right.
Because you believe that you are entitled to, you say $842.60. That's what you're suing for. How much was taken out of your bank?
Fees.
$842.60. Okay, now you're going to tell me why you don't owe him that money.
Well, they falsely advertised. So when we rented the cabin, they advertised it as zip lining.
May I see it, please?
Yes. So my family and I...
Just a second. So sometimes in the wintertime there's skiing.
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
right?
Skiing's very good.
And you were going in what month? August. So you weren't going skiing?
No.
Well, this says cheap ski and zip lines, okay? Yes. I read your answer, and your answer says that when you got there were no zip lines.
They had closed their doors.
Well, they don't own the zip lines, right?
But they...
No, just pay attention. They don't own the zip lines.
Right.
There was no skiing either, right?
No, which we knew that.
You could have found out that there were no zip lines, too. All you had to do was make a phone call.
Well, the zip line was there when we rented it. If it closed its doors, so we rented it in June, or paid it in June, July 14th, which I have a picture, they closed their doors. And if we had been... Brightwood's a small town. If they had notified us, I think it's their responsibility as a cabin to notify us.
It certainly is not their responsibility to notify you. It's your responsibility. It's zip lining. It's your responsibility. They rented you the cabin. At the time that they rented you the cabin based on this, if I assume that this is advertising, this was perfectly accurate. At the time you rented it, it was perfectly accurate.
Yes. I also sent Barbara an email letting her know that my whole family was coming out, my daughter from New York, my other daughter from Northern California, specifically for zip-lining, and that's why we were renting the cabin.
You know, the world is all about your responsibility. Your children were coming out. You get on the phone and say, by the way, not to them, to the zipline company, which was operational when you rented the cabin. If you have any doubt whatsoever that it's in operation, then you get on the phone, you say, is it in operation? But you can't just stop payment on leave. You rented the cabin. Somebody may just want to go there for hiking and not ziplining. I certainly wouldn't want to go any place for ziplining. I might want to go for the outdoors and walk around trails if it's pretty there. But I don't understand why it was paid for, why you left.
Because there was nothing to do. Brightwood's a very small town.
Children who came to visit you from thousands of miles away, and you have this lovely cabin, and you couldn't find something to do with your children for 2 other days, like go out and prepare great dinners and sit around and talk to each other. I assume you... And you're telling me that there was nothing that you could do with your family that you don't see regularly if there was no zip lining in what looks to me like a beautiful environment?
Well, we weren't enjoying the environment, and my children didn't want to stay.
Yeah, well, then you have spoiled children. But it's not their responsibility to keep you abreast of the comings and goings of business. You rented the cabin, you rented it for 4 days, you have a responsibility to pay for it, and you have your responsibility, because there's no false advertising here. You paid for something. You saw this, you liked it, you knew there was no skiing. At the time that you rented it, there was, in fact, zip lining. It closed subsequently. I mean, I'm going to give you an example that is way out. What if it closed the day before you got there because there was a death? You think you would be entitled to your money back?
No, but...
What if it closed 2 days before you got there because somebody who was ziplining got disconnected and broke their neck, and they closed it down until they figured out whether it was safe? You think you'd be entitled to your money back?
No.
Okay, so you're picking an arbitrary time. You're saying, well, it closed in mid-July. From mid-July till the beginning of August, those 2 weeks. So you thought 2 weeks was too much. Well, $842, judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, as usual, Judge Judy showed a lot of wisdom. And
Property owner, it is your responsibility.
if you're coming up to hunt, I'm not responsible to make sure you have a hunting license.
If you know that someone is coming out to the middle of nowhere to do something specific,
And you know the hunting season, that's up to you to know that.
I think that it is a responsibility to at least let me know in time to...
We're sorry for the family that they weren't able to do what they wanted to do.
Either cancel our reservations so that we could have done something else with our time off.
It was just unfortunate circumstances.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Martinez versus Perez. Step forward.
19-year-old Victoria Martinez is suing 20-year-old Jasmine Perez for the return of money she paid for a Saturn.
Ms. Martinez, you bought a used car from the defendant and you want your money back. That's what the case is about.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you find the car?
I saw a post on a page on Facebook that we were both members of.
When did you purchase the car?
October 29th.
How much did you pay for it?
$3,000.
Did you write up a contract?
No, I do have the bill of sale, though.
Who wrote up the bill of sale?
At the bank they did for us, but we both
I'd
signed
like
it.
to see it. That's a contract. So you went and took a look at it, and you bought it the next day?
Yes.
And you took it home on the 29th?
Yes. Yeah, but I got
And then
the
what
keys.
did you do with the car?
I took the car home. My neighbor came with me to look at the car. We took it home, and then I had called to find out about getting it registered in California and what next steps we would take to do that. And then we waited a little while, and then we ended up...
What do you mean you waited a little while? What's a little while?
We waited about, I would say, 2 weeks to take it in, to get it checked over.
Okay,
because
so the car was in your possession for 2 weeks?
Yes, before we went and
Just
got
a
it checked
second.
again. Yes.
And then you took it to
the
mechanic?
Yes. The same mechanic. I have the receipt that she had taken the car to, just to get it checked over to see if everything was okay. And that's when we found out that the car had never been smog tested in the state of California, which I knew from research it was illegal to sell a car. And I thought that those records just went immediately to the DMV. I knew that there wasn't like a certificate of anything for that being done, so I thought that it had been smog tested.
Whatever you thought, you had the car in your possession for 2 weeks.
And I was under that impression. And then when
Your impression is really not important, Miss Martinez.
Right.
You bought a used car.
Right.
When you buy a used car, generally you buy it unless there is a guarantee. If you buy it off of a used car lot, sometimes there's a 30-day guarantee or a 90-day warranty. But usually when you buy...
Right.
Now, what you do is when you buy a car, if you want to take it to a mechanic to have it checked, you take it and you say to the prospective seller, I'd like to have this car checked by my mechanic before you buy it. You knew enough to take the car to a mechanic 2 weeks later. What were you doing in that 2 weeks?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's what your mechanic told you.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be permanently fixed.
I don't know that. You want to tell me what she's talking about?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Victoria Martinez says Jasmine Perez sold her a car with issues.
Now, what you do is when you buy a car, if you want to take it to a mechanic to have it checked, you take it and you say to the prospective seller, I'd like to have this car checked by my mechanic before you buy it. You knew enough to take the car to a mechanic 2 weeks later. What were you doing in that 2 weeks?
Well, we were waiting to get it registered until my husband got paid again because we spent the money on the car. So we waited, but we had already talked to the mechanic about bringing it in and talked to him about
Whether you talk
everything.
to the mechanic or not, you have to understand what the reality in custody
Right.
for a period of 2 weeks.
Right.
As she says in her response, I don't know what she did with the car in those 2 weeks. I don't know if she drove it. I don't know if her husband drove it. I don't know if anybody else drove the car in that 2 week period. When you gave it to her, did you take your plates off the car?
No, I did not.
So there were plates on the car, so you could have driven the car. Your husband could have driven the car. She could have driven the car. Who knows what happens to the car in that 2 week period of time?
Right.
It wasn't the next day that you took it.
No.
No, I know, because she said it. 2 weeks later, I got a call from her and said that the car couldn't be smogged. There was a part that was missing. But she said, I don't know what she did with that car in 2 weeks.
Right.
Neither do I.
Well, we had taken it into the mechanic. We found out that it had
2 weeks later.
Right, that it had not been smog tested and that part was actually discontinued and wouldn't
The car
be able
had
to
Guam
help
license
anymore.
plates on it.
Right. But before you sell a car in California, I have the paperwork right here from the DMV that you do have to get a car smog checked, and it's illegal to sell a car that isn't smog tested in California.
Where's the car now?
It's at home. It's just been parked. We haven't drove it since.
Why not?
It's not registered, so.
Well, you should get it registered.
Well, we can't because it's not smog tested.
Get it smog tested.
Well, we can't get it smog tested because technically it's still in her name, and she was the one who had to get it smog tested. Like, the way that they explained it to us is I had to make sure that it was smog tested before I could smog tested. It was an illegal transaction.
Ms. Martinez, the defendant will do whatever is necessary to cooperate with you in writing her name anywhere, I assume, to get the car serviced in whatever jurisdiction you choose. It's your car. Right. You have to do whatever is necessary to get the car registered out of her name.
Right.
Right.
Right. I just knew that we couldn't take it in. I wanted to make sure that it was
should have done that
before. Legal.
I'm telling you, you should have done that before you bought it.
Right.
But now you have it, and you know what you have to do in order to get it done, right? Do you know what you have to do in order to put this car on the road and get the Guam license plates off the car?
Yes, I just knew.
Your mechanic needs to get a part.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that. She left me the receipt in the car from the repairs that she had done earlier on, and it said right on there that the part was discontinued, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be permanently fixed.
I don't know that. You want to tell me what she's talking about?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There is no requirement that she has to tell you everything wrong with the car. But I would be smart enough. I would say I want to take it to the mechanic before I give you $3,000. What was your rush?
People, Judge Judy.
Victoria Martinez says Jasmine Perez sold her a car with issues.
Do you know what you have to do in order to put this car on the road and get the Guam license plates off the car?
Yes, I just knew.
Your mechanic needs to get a part.
Well, the mechanic told us the part was discontinued, which I have the receipt that they actually had told her that. She left me the receipt in the car from the repairs that she had done earlier on, and it said right on there that the part was discontinued, so we can't get the car fixed technically. It will never be permanently fixed.
I don't know that. You want to tell me what she's talking about?
When I brought the car back from Guam, I knew it had to be registered because I planned on keeping it, and so I was going to get the check engine light fixed because they couldn't fix it over in Guam. And when I got to the place, to the mechanic that she also went to, they told me it was miswiring, and that's what it was. It's also on the receipt that she has.
What was miswiring?
I'm not entirely sure. Just something in the car somewhere was miswired, which was why the check engine light was on. And that's what is on the receipt. That's what they told me. The check engine light was off, and then I think like 3 hours later it came back on. I called the guy at the mechanic store. He said that we probably just didn't clear it out all the way, so to take it back. I never got around to doing that. I was driving my husband's car, and I just never did it. And then I sold the car to her. I told her beforehand the check engine light was on, and it was still registered in Guam, that she would have to fix those things. Well, I also said I would go get it checked for things, so I couldn't go. I said I would do it that week. I have proof of those messages.
Can I see the
messages?
Yes, you may. Did she offer to go to get the check message light fixed with you?
She told me that all I had to do was take it in and get it checked, and then it would be
Did she offer to go with you the following week?
No, she didn't offer to go with me. She had mentioned that if she said that there was something wrong, that she could get it checked.
The only thing wrong with it is the check engine light is on.
Right.
I was told it was because it was miswired. I can get it checked again for you to be sure.
But on the
Just a second.
Okay.
So she told you that the check engine light was on, and she said, I can go next week.
But she didn't advise me. I have the receipt from the mechanic that was in the car when she sold it to me, and she did not advise me that it says right on here that they told her that the evap value line was messed up and that that's a non-replaceable part.
So?
She just never informed me of that, and that's
there is no requirement when you are selling a car to a private person, Miss Martinez, that she has to tell you everything wrong with the car.
Right.
But I would be smart enough if the check engine light was on in the car, and she told me that before I bought it.
Right.
I would say I want to take it to the mechanic before I give you $3,000. What was your rush?
Because me and my husband both we moved out here, and we only had the one vehicle. So, and I was actually just beginning to to start my new job, so I needed a vehicle to get to work also.
Just a second. So the rush was on your part.
Right. I just had asked
The
her.
rush was on your part.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
But 2 weeks then, based upon what you just told me, you drove this car.
No. We didn't drive
Miss Martinez, you just told me that the reason that despite the fact that she told you that the check engine light is on the car and I can get a check next week for you, you insisted on buying the car that day. And you just told me that you had to buy it that day because you and your husband came here, you both had jobs, you only had one car.
Right.
Now you have 2 cars because you bought her car, which means either you or your husband drove this car for 2 weeks before you took it to the mechanic.
No, I was saying I had just got offered that new job. I hadn't started my job yet. I had just got offered it.
Then
so
you should have taken the car
yet.
to the mechanic before you bought it. You don't have a case.
Yeah. And she had told me it was smog checked.
You don't have a case.
Okay.
We're done. Thank you.
Excuse me, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I mean, I knew it was a legal car and that it had been registered and everything, so I knew that there was nothing to worry about with that.
I told her I'd check it. She didn't want it, so she can check it herself.
It was just the California laws that were different.
I never once told her it was smogged because it was from Guam, so they don't require you to get smogged in Guam.
I was told that it was legally done and that it was smog checked, so.
So I don't know where she got that from. I never told her that one time.
It was nearly lights out until their daughter stepped in.
You opened it up in your name because it had been closed in their name?
Both of them had debt in their name.
But with utility bills still not paid up.
I found out that it was about $1,800. I shut it down.
How did they stay powered up?
Did your mother open up the account again?
Yes, she did.
She closed the account. It was reopened. How?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 22-year-old Amber Evans is suing Evans for unpaid utility bills and for ruining her credit.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 389 on the calendar, the matter of Evans versus Whitmore Evans.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Evans, these are your parents.
Yep.
And it is your claim that without your authorization, because their utilities some time ago were being cut off, they opened a utility account using your name and your social security number. You believed after some years that that had been resolved, that they took care of it, that your mother took care of the bill. You subsequently found out when you went and tried to purchase something using your own credit that that was not the case, that the bills had never been paid. So you want not only the bills paid, but you want to be compensated for your ruined credit. How old are you now?
I am 22.
And how many years ago was this account opened?
2014.
And at that time you were 20. What were you doing?
I don't know.
Were you working?
Yes.
Were you going to school?
I was on disability.
Were you on your own disability or through your father's?
My own.
Are you still receiving disability?
Yes.
How long had you been on disability?
Since I was 18.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, it's a card now.
Not when they opened the utilities in your name?
I opened it up, and then I shut it down.
You opened it up when you were 20?
Yeah, and I told them...
When you were living in their house?
Yep, and I found out that it was about $1,800, and I said, no more. I shut it down.
So they didn't pay the bill. You opened it up in your name because it had been closed in their name?
Both of them had debt in their name.
But they opened it in your name and then didn't pay the bill?
Yep.
And that's when you shut it down?
Yep.
Did your mother open up the account again?
Yes, she did.
When?
In July of 2015.
Did you close it down again?
When I found out, yes.
When did you find out that she had opened it?
My dad had written a letter when he was in prison telling me that it was still on.
Did you write her that letter?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me why you wrote her the letter.
Because me and my wife wasn't getting along at the time, and I didn't want her bill to get any higher, so I thought...
So you knew that your wife had opened it without her authorization?
No, she had her authorization.
The second time?
It was never opened the second time. It was never closed. It was never shut down.
Your Honor, yes, it was.
It was never shut down.
Do you have proof that it was closed once?
Yes. That.
No, that's not what she said.
Which one? Then that's all I have.
Your Honor, we went to the police station and filed, but we couldn't get a copy of that report.
Oh,
okay, tell me who you are.
I'm the mother of her boyfriend. She lives with me.
At the time that you wrote her that letter?
Yes, I was in jail.
I know that's coming up later.
Okay.
At the time that you wrote her that letter, was your daughter living in her mother's house?
No.
And you were using her utilities accounts. Notice your husband says that your daughter was not living in the house.
No, I was not. In the very beginning, my daughter moved into my home. And
I'm not talking about the beginning. I'm talking about when your husband wrote to his
daughter. I did
daughter.
not put it in her name. She voluntarily did it herself. She went and got energy assistance to prove that she's the one. I'm not
Subsequently, she closed the account.
Right.
She closed the account. It was reopened. How?
I was talking to her, and she felt bad for me, and she says, Mom, I don't want you to not have electricity. I'll let you do it a little bit longer until you get your situation straightened out.
Now, we're going to get to the other part of this counterclaim that we have. So far, 1,230. I'm speaking. Your last name is?
Evans.
Mr. Evans, how long were you incarcerated?
18 months.
Your counterclaim says that during the time you were incarcerated, you were also receiving disability.
Yes.
How long have you been receiving disability?
Since 2007.
What were you incarcerated for?
Violation of probation.
What was the crime?
Violation of a protective order.
Which protective order?
Me and her protective order.
Now, you were incarcerated for 6 months, which means that the state, which incarcerated you, was paying for your room, board, medical, etc.
The state wasn't. It was Social Security.
No, listen to me. Social Security was not paying to clothe you, to house you, to feed you while you were in jail.
But she was collecting my checks.
Are you following me?
No, I'm following you. No, they weren't paying for me to be...
They were paying for you. When you go to jail, unless you were in a jail where you paid, did you pay for your own jail?
No.
Did you pay for your own jail?
No.
Then Bird paid to keep you in jail.
Yeah.
To keep a cell over your head, to keep food 3 times. The state paid for you.
Yes.
So why didn't you notify Social Security Disability that your check should stop?
She was my payee.
Listen to me. That's not my question to you.
Well,
my question is, Social Security Disability is designed to take care of you because you can't work.
Yeah.
Did you work when you were in prison?
No.
What did you do? Did you have a prison job?
I couldn't get a prison job.
Why?
Because there was a long list of people.
Did you try?
Yes, I was on that list.
You were on the list. What did you want to do?
I wanted to do the washing of the floors, sweeping, and stuff like that.
Well, why can't you do that when you're out?
Huh?
Why can't you do that when you're out?
Because...
If you could do it in prison, why can't you do it when you're out to make money instead of collecting disability?
Yes, I understand what you...
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know you understand what I'm saying. If you think that I'm going to give you back Social Security disability checks, even if she was your payee, while you were in prison that I was paying for, you got another thing coming. I just wish Social Security is going to have a new administrator. Pay careful attention. When somebody is incarcerated, their disability payment should stop. When somebody is incarcerated, welfare payments should stop. We don't have to pay twice or 3 times. Once is bad enough. We understand each other, Congress.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I had received a small inheritance, and she asked me if she could borrow $500.
For what?
She didn't give an explanation.
No, I would have said to her as her mother, what do you need $500 for?
And later today...
Did you help him move his things in?
I did not.
Who helped you move your things in?
A co-worker of mine. She was actually, it was a female who actually moved my things in with me. Like, yeah.
Do you
is this the
understand?
truth?
Your lawsuit's going nowhere.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Amber Evans says her parents, Jacqueline Whitmore and Alan Evans, owe for utility bills and ruined credit. The defendants are countersuing for an unpaid loan and stolen money.
No, so you're not getting any money back. I don't care where your money went for Social Security. It's bad enough that you got it. I'm certainly not rewarding you by giving it back to you while you were in jail. Next is your claim, madam. Pay careful attention. It is your claim that you loaned your daughter $500.
Correct.
Tell me, when you loaned her $500?
July 16th.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding giving it.
I had received a small inheritance. I don't know.
Don't show me anything.
From my uncle, and she found out I had it.
How did she find out?
Because I was buying things, and she just knew by me buying things.
What were you buying?
I bought a TV. I was putting money into my car to fix my car.
So you must have told her that you got an inheritance.
Yes, after a while, I did.
You told her? Okay.
And she asked me if she could borrow $500.
For what?
She didn't give an explanation.
No, I would have said to her as her mother, what do you need $500 for?
Well, I didn't.
What did you need $500 for?
That, honestly, is a lie, Your Honor.
What's a lie?
The amount that she's telling you.
What was the amount?
It was probably like $20, and that wasn't. She gave it to me.
You mean she gave you $20?
Yeah, that was.
How much do you collect from Social Security disability?
$733 a month.
How much do you collect from Social Security?
$795.
And what do you do?
I am also disabled.
And what do you collect from disability?
Mine is like $761.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,235. Counterclaims are dismissed. We're done here.
Decision, and that's that.
I thought it was good.
My daughter has played me.
I don't owe my parents anything. Never once did.
I just think it's a very rotten thing to do.
There's no more family.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Benson versus Jones. Step forward.
Jason Benson is suing his former friend and landlord, Gerald Jones, for destruction of property and stolen money.
Mr. Jones, how many rental units do you own?
2.
And where are they?
Los Angeles.
When did you purchase them?
May of 2010.
And how long do you know Mr. Benson?
I would say 7 years.
So you were friends?
Yes.
Mr. Benson, this is what your lawsuit is about. You were in trouble. You had no place to live. You were going to become homeless. Mr. Jones had one of his units that he was about to begin refurbishing. He said to you, you know what? I don't want you to be homeless. You can come and stay in one of my units for a short period of time, transitionally. You have to be ready to, get out quickly because I'm going to be refurbishing that unit so that it can be a rental unit and I can get value for it. He also says he told you don't move in a whole bunch of stuff because my guys are going to have to work all around it. And he charged you a nominal rent. What was the nominal rent he charged you?
$250 just to store my stuff there. Yes,
well, you were
correct.
staying there.
Well, somewhat. I was working a lot at the time. I was working like 16 hours, so I would get minimum sleep. I wouldn't even sleep there half the time.
You can go into a storage unit, sir, for
Sure
less than
enough.
$250 a month if you wanted to store your stuff. You were staying in the apartment. That's what you say.
Correct.
And when did you start staying in the apartment?
In May of 2016.
And then there came a time when Mr. Jones had a conversation with you about the work that was going to be commencing in the apartment. When was that? When was that, Mr. Jones?
July 1st? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right around before the 4th of July holiday, so around July 1st, the 30th of June, July 1st.
Okay. And you want to tell me what that conversation was? Do you remember the conversation?
He was basically telling me that I needed to move my things around so that they could come in and start painting the walls, maybe doing some renovations and stuff. So I basically let him know that because I was single-handedly doing it, that I was going to need his help in order for me to move things around. He agreed. He said, okay, I'll come over there. Because I didn't make a phone call, he basically, went against what was going on, hired some guys.
I have no idea what you're just talking about.
You can't hear me? I'm sorry.
He told you to get your stuff out.
Correct.
Because his guys were going to be coming in and working.
Right.
And that was the arrangement from the beginning.
Right, and that's why I spoke to him and asked him if he would be able to. So during that time, I was expecting him to show up and help me out. He didn't. So
How old are you?
I'm 33.
And you're working 16 hours a day?
Correct.
Doing what?
Construction.
You worked for a firm?
At the time, I was, yes.
How long did you work for them?
For about like 6 or 7 months.
Well, if you work for the same construction firm for 16 hours a day, you ask one of your buddies after work, and you come, please help me, I'll give you $100 and move some furniture for me.
A lot of them didn't speak English, so I couldn't communicate with them. No, I'm dead serious.
All right, Mr. Benson.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Money owed for property damage and money taken without permission. What money did he take? This man who gave you a place to live, who you squatted in his apartment for 3 months without paying, what money do you think he stole from you?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jason Benson says his former friend and landlord, Gerald Jones, caused his belongings to be destroyed and stole his money. Gerald is countersuing for rent.
So what did you do, Mr. Jones?
What I did is I talked to him around July 1st. That was middle of the week. 4th of July was that weekend. And I said, hey, I need you to move your things out. Jason told me that he needed help because it was just him. In my mind, I said, you know, I don't mind helping you out because my incentive is to get the place ready to go so it can be leased. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, you know what? You should have not moved all your things in.
Did you help him move his things in?
I did not.
Who helped you move your things in?
A co-worker of mine. She was actually, it was a female who actually moved my things in with me. Like, yeah. She couldn't really take on any, like, you know. Well, I no longer speak to that woman, so I really couldn't ask for her help any longer. So it's not a sob story. It's just the truth.
Your lawsuit's going nowhere. You understand that?
No, I understand.
You understand, and you understand why.
Well, I mean,
you understand
it's
why.
not so much like the agreement.
Just a second. Just a second. He's not responsible for you. You're responsible for you. Now, after he moved some of your stuff outside, and he did put it outside, you put it, you said, under a garage, under a tarp?
Under the carport in the backyard.
Okay. That didn't discourage you. You still stayed there until November, according to you. You stayed there. That was July, August, September, October. And what date in November did you move out?
Around the 12th, the 15th.
Where did you sleep, sir?
On the floor.
Did he ask you to leave?
Did he ask me to leave? No.
Tell me about reaching that agreement.
He came over to the house.
What month?
In November.
November. Now, when you moved back in and slept on the floor, did you pay rent?
Yes.
October?
Yes.
Did he pay rent in October?
No. Not
Did you pay rent in September?
Yes.
Did he pay rent in September?
I paid rent from May all the way until, what was it, September, correct?
No, don't ask him. I'm asking you. You say he put your stuff out.
Right.
You slept on the floor, and you're telling me that you still paid him rent.
I paid for that, yes. That's why I was so upset, and that's why I stayed, because I had given him a deposit. I had paid for that month. I moved in on the 26th of that month, and he still charged me for the deposit, the rent, and then 4 days later ended up asking me for the first of the month for the next month. So that came out to $1,000. So I basically kind of just went with the flow at that point. And we were friends at the time, so I mean, hey.
This is a generic.
I got the same paperwork
that was written up, but the bottom line is that the $250 was supposed to be deposited into my Bank of America checking account on the 1st, and I only received 2 deposits, which would have been May and June. Just wrote up because I know, but.
Well, I have 3 receipts right here. I paid him cash originally, but I have 3 receipts right here that proves that it was deposited into his account, so I don't know how he only ended up with 2 of them.
I just want to know whether you paid September, October, and November. September, October, and November.
No, I didn't. For September, no, but for May, June, July, and August, yes, I did.
I'm not talking about May, June, July. I'm talking about September, October, and November. Did you pay rent?
No, I did not. During that time, I was going through a detainer.
I don't care what you were going through.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This is what you can't sue him for. You can't sue him for loss of rent, because once it's remodeled, you can get so much more for the apartment. The apartment was remodeled, according to you, in September.
The apartment is currently being remodeled.
Okay.
And it hasn't been done yet.
Done yet, fine. So he owes you for the 3 months that he didn't pay you, September, October, and November, on your counterclaim. That's $750, not $5,000. Now, money did he take? This man who gave you a place to live, who you squatted in his apartment for 3 months without paying, what money do you think he stole from you?
I can't say he personally stole it, but he hired a couple of guys to come in and remove all of my property out during that time. They were going through personal property. I had a shoebox full of money that had $3,100 in there, first off, and I have pictures to prove that my property was thrown outside with a sprinkler system on them 2 times a day at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night.
You have no case. You're a complainer.
Excuse me?
You have no case. Judgment on the counterclaim for $750. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.